Yeah. Project 365, trading live every day. Project 365, making money the rate trades way. We got Jake Rich and Mr. Rate Trades, catching those level to levels. The mastermind, big brain, your main host with the most. Ripping the J's on stream, living the Puerto Rican dream. Got Mr. Mitch Gamma, the freak with the Greeks. Professor in the lab, making all of the reads. Writing that prescription, boy, you better listen. Lonely power hour using ICT, finding FVGs and scalping away, hitting TP, shouting cold RT. Run G with the evening vibes, busting that oil. NYM, Mr. Ohio, you could say that's him. Alan Zhang, Mr. Midnight, giving out all the gems. If you see that treat on camera, you know he just nailed the winner. Project 365, always winning the most. These are the best of the best. Project 365 hosts. Project 365 live free, everyday proper count. Giveaways, trading the rate trades way. Project. Yeah. Project 365, trading live every day. Project 365, making money the rate trades way. We got Jake Rich and Mr. Rate Trades, catching those level to levels. The mastermind, big brain, your main host with the most. Ripping the J's on stream, living the Puerto Rican dream. Got Mr. Mitch Gamma, the freak with the Greeks. Professor in the lab, making all of the reads. Writing that prescription, boy, you better listen. Lonely power hour using ICT, finding FVGs and scalping away, hitting TP, shouting cold RT. Run G with the evening vibes, busting that oil. NYM, Mr. Ohio, you could say that's him. Alan Zhang, Mr. Midnight, giving out all the gems. If you see that treat on camera, you know he just nailed the winner. Project 365, always winning the most. These are the best of the best. Project 365 hosts. Project 365 live free, everyday proper count. Giveaways, trading the rate trades way. Project. Yeah. Project 365, trading live every day. Project 365, making money the rate trades way. We got Jake Rich and Mr. Rate Trades, catching those level to levels. The mastermind, big brain, your main host with the most. Ripping the J's on stream, living the Puerto Rican dream. Got Mr. Mitch Gamma, the freak with the Greeks. Professor in the lab, making all of the reads. Writing that prescription, boy, you better listen. Lonely power hour using ICT, finding FVGs and scalping away, hitting TP, shouting cold RT. Run G with the evening vibes, busting that oil. NYM, Mr. Ohio, you could say that's him. Alan Zhang, Mr. Midnight, giving out all the gems. If you see that treat on camera, you know he just nailed the winner. Project 365, always winning the most. These are the best of the best. Project 365 hosts. Project 365 live free, everyday proper count. Giveaways, trading the rate trades way.
What up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? Let's see. Let's get the chat up. Praga first. Congratulations. Thank you for joining first. Vish. Ruffianan. Got your first funded account. What's up, Hellboy? What's up, Killer Trades? What's up, Vish? All right, see what we get here this afternoon, huh? FOMC day. Luke, what's up, man? Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I guess it's technically still the morning. We got about 30 minutes before it officially hits afternoon time. So, what's up, Matterman? What's up, man? Woo! Tell you what, guys. Freaking tired. Oh. Anybody stay up and watch the World Cup last night? Watch Messi still doing all the things. Guy is just too good. Chart boring as F. I mean, I think there is some action there. I think we're kind of doing some stuff here. Let me actually pull something. This will be kind of a fun experiment here. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to do a little something. We'll talk about OPEX. Excuse me. Jeez. Some OPEX positioning because, you know, it's kind of important tomorrow. So give me 1 second. All right, we'll get that so we can look at that on the chart as well during this session. But I think, hey Virginia, I think the afternoon is pretty clear. I did update you guys. The morning straddle was the 48, which was these kind of purple lines, and this lighter blue line is the current intraday straddle. So it is still holding strong, which on a day with a big volatility event out there like FOMC, that generally is going to hold true because there's just more volatility, more implied volatility being priced in. So that kind of range of what we can cover as we move into the FOMC release and then the subsequent speech, or not speech, but press conference after, is kind of what's keeping the range broad, meaning we can still see potentially a move. Excuse me. God, I got a frog in my throat today. Something like this, right? That move is still entirely possible. It's being priced into the range. Same thing, obviously, for going back to here and maybe even something really nefarious like that. Okay, those are all possibilities being priced in. So when you know that a day like today, generally speaking, should be more than likely for a lot of people out there a size down kind of a day, right? So if we have that in our mind, we know we can get a decent amount of range potentially, the same way we got this one earlier today. That was a 50-point move, right? So knowing kind of what to expect coming in on the day is important. So this is the current intraday positioning, guys. So what I have on my screen here is everything from the post-London period, which we'll go ahead and mark out, which was not that long ago. So about right there, that blue line, that blue vertical line, if you guys can see that, we'll make it a little bigger maybe. There you go. That is your London close line. I don't even know if you can read that, but we're going to do it anyway. All right, so as far as the positioning goes, I think you can see, excuse me, from this kind of London close period on, the big strike we're kind of fighting is this thing that we're kind of barely holding over is giving us a little support. But the problem is there's nothing to really propel us any higher. This is a big empty range. So to me, that's a sign there's not really enough buying to force the market makers to do anything more than what they're already doing, covering this strike, right? Oh, that's a 2-minute chart. Sorry. We'll extend that out a little bit. Better? Here's a 5-minute. Hopefully that works for you guys. So the idea here now, from this blue line on, is where we're worried about this kind of structure. So failures to hold over this 75.85, we're probably going to go back to this balance area at 75.70, okay? If we fail under that and we have some volatility that ramps up, then we could easily go down kind of towards this next key supportive area. But the thing about down below is if we're doing our little arrow game, right? The same thing that might propel us down there right now, the thing that's supporting us is this kind of shape, right? Everything below us is kind of propping us up right now. So that's what makes this 75.70 kind of a key area on the day, right? So right now where we're sitting, we have the potential to make this kind of a move, but we've got to get some actual market flow to do that, right? Right now, because we are sitting over this position, it and everything below it are passively buying, helping us. And there's clearly just a little bit of passive selling, stopping that from moving us any higher. There's also just less positioning between here and 7630 on ES to actually get us anywhere. So market makers, technically, they've already hedged. Until spot price starts moving up, they aren't going to keep buying en masse as we move away from this big strike that we're sitting on top of. But if we move below this and there's some selling pressure, guess what? That's going to compel us right back down to this spot and maybe even through it, right? But as of right now, because the straddle is so high and it's pricing in so much range, this is why it's very much for me on a day like today. I'm just going to get rid of these arrows, guys. Maybe I draw too much. You'll have to tell me if it's confusing to draw them and remove them. But if we look at the pre-market positioning really quickly, why that strike was so important to me on the day is because it was kind of the big solitary support. This was a dividing line between down here and up here, right? And then this kind of little resistance area is a block that I was a little concerned with as well, because it's all very thin, right? Relative to these kind of outsized strikes. We should have been able to kind of move from here higher. Obviously, we got a little volatility. It's the start of the London close. If they were exiting some positions, who knows what they were doing, but we got compelled down in this sell. We got this really crazy vol spike when Trump said something about, starting to bomb again if things go south. But what you'll notice is that huge wick back up is more than likely due to this position and the positions below it having to rapidly hedge their delta on that volatility spike, because these are very sensitive. So when you have a big vol spike, you generally will get that big strong bounce. So I think that is why we saw this, and this was also why even in Jake's chat this morning I was mentioning we could potentially get up here towards like 76.25 on this extension. But the thing that I wanted to see was not this little dabble down here. I wanted to see how strong is that position and that support. So going long from here on this retest, I said in the Discord, and we can go look at that, essentially what I would expect was two things. You are either going to have volatility like really go and keep ramping. VIX is going to fly over 17. We're going to get stuck under there. And we do have a lot of ammunition, right, in these strikes to kind of keep selling us down. But if that went away at all, meaning you had some shorts that covered because they wanted to take profit right away, that kind of buying of the underlying, right? They're going to buy futures, whoever's holding those positions as those shorts cover, that's going to compel buying. Buying is going to reduce volatility. We know we've already got some big market maker buying here anyway. So that makes the likelihood of any reduction in volatility to just get an initial pop back higher, right? We got it here. It came back down once that volatility had kind of subsided, right? It wasn't some big flush sell at that point. And what I wanted to see was, can we actually, do something there? So let's look at the timestamps, and I'll just kind of, hopefully this is helpful for you guys to just know that like I'm not full of it and I'm actually saying the things that I mean. Holy hell. I don't know why you guys can't see my Hey, there we go. We'll get that note in there. But I just want you guys to know I'm not full of shit. I'm not just like revisionist history. Like I actually am saying these things in places so people can take actions on them, right? So here we go. So I actually took a long and got stopped out at break even on this kind of pop right here, thinking, okay, we can actually get going. And then obviously we got that big vol spike and that stopped me out at break even. And I was kind of doing it on the basis of, okay, we got into this area on 75.75. I'll give it a 10-point stop. Rick, what's up, buddy? Just catching up on chat. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. But just going to go over here, guys, really quickly, and we'll go back and talk to this on the chart. This idea here about what happens after this initial absorption. Do we get the short cover rally? We got the nice vol spike. Does it persist? If not, I want to see that go up. And if we hold under that, obviously it's a different story. But getting that kind of volatility persisting or not, where are you more likely to go? And looking at the chart, where were we more likely to go at the minimum? Essentially right to the 75.90 where we are. And that's also why I said this is kind of the line in the sand, to go back to that point, about going higher. 75.90 is the get over it spot. And then you can maybe test high a day or beyond. But given the range, any failures there, you likely come right back down to 75.70. So right there, what happens at 75.90? Do we clear the hurdle or return to the balance? And then here's just a little note kind of about what I was looking at into the afternoon. I'm currently not looking to do much. I'm going to be very patient because of that range and also because of this. We've actually got more risk underneath us if we get some volatility and selling down here. Again, Peter, talk to one thing so you can read it, come back to the chart. So the risk on the day now is if you get that vol and this single support is not enough to stem that volatility, where is it more likely that we would go? But then we are holding over this spot or at it, which means we could also go here. So there is no great risk to reward right now, because a harsh sell is at least probably going to take you back another 15 points or 10 points like that, with the potential to continue. So the best kind of long risk was when we kind of were slowly holding this area to say, okay, I'm going to give myself like a 5-point stop under here, because if I'm wrong, I'll probably be wrong in a hurry because of everything under here, right? So me trying to take a long from here right now, there's nothing attractive about that to me. The best long for me was at the only known support that I had. If I took this one, I would keep that stop very tight. Or you give yourself like 3 micros or something and give yourself a 15-point stop down here. I don't know. That's for you to decide. But even if you were short, all it takes is a strong bid on this big straddle, and we're ripping all the way to 76.30. That's why I'm saying your best case for either directional trade, if you're shorting, you're only catching this with the potential to get all the way down here. But the risk is any kind of a bid filling this big air pocket up to 76.30. So today is a really tricky day now post London close. Most of the time you don't sit here and have a 40-point range being priced into the market because there's this big event sitting out there that you are effectively waiting for. Once that event goes away, that straddle is going to get crushed in a hurry. So the idea of IV crush on options is a very real thing on a day like today. You could pick the direction perfectly right, but when that IV crushes, once that event gets off the surface, unless you picked a really good contract and you're deep in the money, that vol crush can screw you even if you were technically right on the direction if you're playing options on a day like today. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If I'm just talking nonsense and it doesn't make sense to you, please let me know. But I think you have to understand kind of the dynamics of what makes today and tomorrow on a short week very risky. As there's minute changes every 10 minutes, even pre-market, what time do I actually mark my pre-market levels? As you mostly focus on pre-market rather than intraday. Yeah, I basically just see what are the key. So let's just look. This is intraday on the screen right now. Here's pre-market. I'm going to lay it over the two. The key strikes were always 75.70. This little block here, which is essentially gone except for 76.05. This was not a key strike coming in on the day, right? But it is now. And then all of this was pretty thin, but overall the structure is still the same, right? Way up high, it was very positive. So our areas of opportunity were basically kind of up into here, which was the top of the expected move on the day, right? You can see that kind of purple bar there. And then to the downside, it was a little bit less bearish, let's say, as far as this range goes. But it was mostly supported, but very fishbony. So this line, the structure was very much still the same. So I do give a lot of credence to the kind of bets being placed in the pre-market to say, what should I expect coming in? That's why I said in my pre-market plan, if you can hold over this area, and by default, that means you're holding over all of this, right? That shape from the pre-market even was kind of saying, as long as you're over here, you've got a decent shot to get up and test up here at the top of that range. But if not, this is a key balance to test. And even then, the pre-market, you could see what sat underneath it. It's mostly support, but this kind of alternating pattern says that could either be choppy and wild and rangy and wicky, or if you got some volatility, you could just keep on picking up momentum on the way down, right? But this was kind of your line in the sand coming in on the day. So intraday, that story has not really changed. There's a few different things that maybe change the color, but it's still all about, are you over 75.70 or are you under it? So hopefully that makes sense. FOMC are known for volatility even until close. And? Sorry, Peter. I don't know if that's a question or a statement. But the reason why they're volatile is because of everything getting essentially held in place, frozen in time. The straddle, the range of the day is being held all day long. Especially this one, because it's like a unique thing where you only nominate a new chair or have a new chair every so often, right? And the market is trying to glean some insight into how they're going to operate and what their forecast is, whether that's the dot plot and he doesn't want to have it anymore. It's, like too much information from the Fed, I think is what he said before. And does he play it close to the vest in his comments after the data comes out, right? Does he even talk about the dot plot? Does he talk about disagreements in the Fed panel? Who knows? So all of that volatility around the what will it be, what won't it be, is why our range is so big. What makes it more volatile, though, is the fact that by the time that all comes off and it's all done, everything that we know about this kind of program of buying and selling and hedging has to get condensed down into that last hour of the day. So if the range is 40 points right now and that all gets crushed and somehow we get down to a 17 point range all within the last hour of the day, that's your volatility. Where were we? Where could we settle? What are we close to? What influences are there out there? Plus the flow of the market, right? Is it dovish? Do the bulls get super horned up and say new all-time high today? What do we know about the structure to say where should things probably start slowing down? Well, depending on how fast we get up here, there is some ammo to get through to send it even higher, but is that realistic to me right now? No. I think the real risk is if everyone expects them to be hawkish and rates aren't going to get cut and they might actually get hiked depending on what happens with oil and what kind of message he sends, do you actually get sold down here? And that's the 40-point straddle question right now. What are we going to get? So I am very hands-off. I think you can try to long from here. I'm not taking a short because I don't have a known resistance. We're kind of holding at the do or die spot for higher or back to balance or potentially way lower. So let me see here. What time do you mark the levels for pre-market? I just always look at post-London Vish because it's that's when there's basically a good chunk of the market participants are gone, right? If you have Asia into London, you've got London into New York, and then all those people trading from London session are basically out of the market at 10:30 Central. That's less flow sitting in the market, people participating, doing things. And then I kind of try to forecast, well, based on what I can see, once they're out, how does that still shape up from coming into the day? Who placed their bets? Where did they place them? What kind of behaviors do you see, right? And once London's out, depending on how things shift, does it change my outlook at all? Do I give more weighting to pinning this number as opposed to this one up here, right? So that's why I picked the post-London period. But I'll keep an eye on it, and throughout the day, like I don't only consider this one. This is more for you guys to just have something to visualize that I can talk to, right? But I think on the day, you know, if there's something wildly different between here and the next hour and those positions shift, then yeah, I'm going to pay attention to that. But I think it's really easy to see right now, we just don't have a lot of people committing too much to anything. we are ranging. This was kind of the story on the day. I said it myself. I'm like, I'm very much hands off today. I took a couple very small trades to make sure I got my little $150 minimum for the day so I can secure a payout tomorrow, right? So you got to know the market and kind of what your risk appetite is, and is this a day that's advantageous for me or not? Yeah, no problem, Fish. It's kind of the whole point of the channel. I might not be for everybody, but for the people who want to learn more about this or at least understand my trading style or my outlook, right? Here it is for free. And if you want more, you know where to find me. Cole said, do you have your own video reviews on YouTube or in the Discord? I find your strat interesting with Gamma, but haven't seen enough of it. Yeah, Cole. Cup of Joe. It was Trump talking about basically, I'll start bombing again as soon as we see that this deal isn't going the right way or something. So whatever. But again, the whole idea of what does the positioning mean and why do you get some reactions like that? Well, VIX is in a really kind of interesting spot after the settlement of the contract. Next week's VIX positions are actually honestly kind of potentially bombastic to the point where they can rip. Like you could see VIX like rocket up to like 22 in a hurry if you got some real volatility. Like it could be an absolute piss missile on VIX. So we're not fully out of the woods on that front. But Cole, to your point, in the Discord I just post kind of my pre-market plan, what I'm looking at, expected behaviors. Here's what I'm looking at for here. Here's a trade I'm taking. Here's an options trade on SPX I think would be good for this profile. And then Instagram is my pre-market video that I'll throw out there closer to the open, an end of day review that kind of touches on things from this stream and the end of the day, how things played out. And then YouTube, I just post the same things I post on Instagram just to put it there. So yeah, nothing crazy. Been in shorts for a while, not liking how long it's taking. I think I'm going to close out my other account, hit target. Nicely done. Yeah, I mean, like there is something compelling about shorts if you get the volatility. But I think because you are pricing in this whole range and we've got some negative positions from market makers, if it's a bid, they're going to assist that bid. If it's a sell, they're going to assist that sell. Excuse me. It's all about, you know, what the predominant flow in the market is, because there's only a few kind of key positions of influence right now from the market makers. That's why I even said, I think in my pre-market plan, I said something about not having a lot of conviction, you know, in the profile influence today, outside of a couple key spots, right? So knowing that, what am I really aiming for? What is my reason for trading on the day? If I don't see something that's like advantageous to me where I feel like I have a really strong edge, I'm not going to, you know, go out of my way to trade something just because. And here, I'll just, I'll speak to that really quickly. This was the actual kind of first bit of the morning. So if you guys can make that out, I mean, that is about as indecisive as you're ever going to hear me. I'm going to be watching the 7600 area on ES, holding over that, but especially 7570 for any kind of upside bias to play out. I'm wary of too much expectations from positional influence today, as it is thin and messy, both directions. Positive speed makes me think it could get magnetic if we're holding over that 7,600 area. Anything below that is a bit of a who knows. Will depend on volatility to see where it can reach. I mean, nailed it. We didn't hold over 7,600, no extension. We did hold 75.70, no downside extension. But we know what lurks down there if we get the volatility on some selling pressure. But we're also now at our do or die spot at this 75.90, where if we get some buy-in pressure, we can absolutely go higher in a hurry. So that is what I would say. I do think this is a very unique situation. We have OPEX tomorrow, and I did say that I would kind of give you a little preview about what those positions look like in the morning. So we can go over that really quickly. All right. So everything you see on your screen right now is, that cannot be right. Hold on a second, guys. The hell? Sorry guys, 1 second here. God damn. There we go. So these are the OPEX positions. So when you look at OPEX and you say, okay, you basically got a whole trading day that has to be traded between this afternoon post FOMC and tomorrow morning, right? Market open tomorrow morning, wherever the market opens, you get a snapshot of the index and all of the members of the S&P, right, and where they're priced, and you get this settlement number. That's where these kind of hedges, things are going to amplify on these positions into tomorrow morning. So you can see the kind of biggest position that's supportive right now is the 7,500 ES area. Then you've got this kind of very tiny supportive range here from 75 to 65. Everything that we are under tomorrow is going to, same idea of shape, right? If we're not over it, it's going to pressure you down. If you're under it, it's going to pressure you down. If you're over it, it's going to support you. So we are in a very precarious situation if you combine today's current positions and tomorrow's outlook, right? That's why this 75-70 area on ES, for example, is maybe a little bit more supported than it would otherwise seem, because you have 2 extra days worth of positions. You've got tomorrow morning's contracts and tomorrow afternoon's contracts currently being traded. And where we are relative to those things can influence today as well, right? This is a short week. Those are carrying a little more weight than they normally would. So, yeah, I think it's a really, really interesting day. FOMC, this is like place your bets and get out of the way. How's the work wife? I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while. She must be playing the field, which is fine. It's not like she could get more money out of me, so may she roam where she likes. What's up, Tay-Day? Vish has another question here. The SPX market's only open during New York, but sometimes on Ron streams you talk about certain position strikes and trades you take. How do I determine that when the market's closed? I get the pre-market positions for tomorrow, and I look at them in the overnight. So if you're interested in how I trade the overnight, the trade that I kind of hinted at last night in the Discord as an example, I was at my kids' soccer, so I couldn't really do much on it, but I was looking at this kind of balance area, this kind of, you could maybe short this and look for a test down to this strike. And we obviously didn't get that, but what we did do is we kind of just ground and chopped mostly in this zone. and this was kind of like the floor. The bottom of this range was kind of the low for most of the overnight session, and then this kind of test here is where we couldn't break above, and we came back down to the bottom of that balance and then kind of started testing around it. So at the market open, it was no surprise that we couldn't really escape there. Obviously we tried, and then we got our big vol spike down, and the rest is history. But that is, to answer your question, Vish, that is how I look at that for the overnight, and that is how I will take trades on it. Helped yesterday so much, Tay Day. Yeah, no problem, man. We are here every day to help and hopefully point you in the right direction. Oh, there she is. She's back, as bearded and beautiful as ever. The work wife. I can't properly place stop loss and take profits in the trading view that I connected via NinjaTrader for a growth account. Does anyone know any videos on how to use this? When you say can't properly place it, what do you mean? Like you can't actually drag it and drop it? Or what is your situation? As long as you conditioned it to work wife, you know, it'll be extra soft for me. Yeah, guys, so here's what we're seeing now. We're seeing this little drift back down to this balance area. Obviously, again, we've got FOMC coming. So my expectations, again, are there's definitely risk to the downside. We are still holding this straddle value. VIX is very much a risk if we do get some extreme vol or some selling off the back of any of this information, any of this data. So I would be very, very leery of that outcome. Again, while we could get to here, the same could be said for if you're not actually flirting with this area and aggressively and quickly into the afternoon. Most of this is going to kind of say this is your likely floor, just because everything is pointing up. But again, it all depends on volatility. There is enough of this red where selling begets more selling begets more selling. If we get kind of stuck under the 75.70, right? So if that does happen and we get some selling pressure here into FOMC, I would expect this kind of 75.20 area on ES to be it. So the risk you run trading options in a time like this is, you know, the IV crush if you're not on the right side of it, right? And if you're not taking profits appropriately. On the future side, you've just got to try to figure out, like, where are you defining your risk, right? Like if I'm trading a 15-minute chart, you could have said, oh, there's a potential lower high, I'm going to short that, and you've got a decent risk. You got about a 5-point stop there, right? I'm just a little wary of any kind of a bid at all can obviously cover this whole range in like no time at all. So again, this would have been a decent like 3R trade if you actually get down here. That is something you could have maybe talked me into just on a tight stop, but I'm very much just hands off today, guys. So no like lotto trade for me. Randy, as far as an out the money put, if it was feasible, I think if you wanted to play a put, I would always advocate, especially for a day where there's going to be some IV crush. If you think we're going to trade into this range down here, I would trade a put spread, like a debit spread, and I would capture some part of this range, even if it's 5 points or 10 points, right? And you could just capture some part of that range on the cheap. You can get the direction right, and then you can fully monetize if you are completely right. So it's like the idea, I was working with a student on this last night, actually. We talked about this for the option side. If you know that this is your range, and this is a 40-point range, you could capture like this portion of it, max pay $1,000 versus what you paid for that spread, on the idea that I'm confident we go through this one and to this one. If I'm double right and it actually moves through that, the most I can make is $1,000. So then I don't have to work, like managing that trade is a lot easier because you're not sitting there going, oh man, this thing's going to go all the way down here. And you get one spike that hits your stop and then it continues down, but you got out of it. If you're holding a put spread, it holds its value a lot longer. So it's the idea of going through and to a price. So the bigger the range you want to capture, the more expensive it's going to be. But you also know like your max pay coming out of that situation. So hopefully that makes sense. I would advocate for a put spread if I was playing downside as opposed to a naked put. That's just me personally. It'll hold its value better. I'm not playing a condor right now, no. No way. Could not do that. I think if you're playing a condor, you got to do something like this where you're playing on the upper and lower bounds, and I think that's playing with fire. I think if you played a condor today, it would just be risky unless you only had it on for a very specific period. But yeah, that would not be me today, unfortunately. But again, guys, here you can see that we are kind of, again, working back towards this balance. We're not flushing through it, even though VIX is kind of ticking up, right? It's kind of tick, tick, tick. It's kind of moving towards 17. If we do get the volatility, though, like I said, there's enough to know about the VIX positions for next week. It can really get going in a hurry in a very ugly way. So I would be very edgy about that. But let's just do this. We'll just put a really tiny little position on. We'll do a little gamble. Oop. I'm an idiot. I don't love it. Something like that. So if you were short, again, this is like a tiny little MES trade, 30-point stop. I'm not advocating for this, but this is just to show you guys, like, if we get the vol expansion and we get stuck under this one, you can get a really aggressive sell down. More than likely what happens as we approach this moment is things are going to probably get really wacky, and you can be right. And even with a 30-point stop, or a 20-point stop, sorry, you could get stopped out like that, right? It could just happen in a heartbeat, just off the initial kind of bigger flow coming into the market. The second, things get a little closer. So actually, I probably should look. I don't think any of the fundeds out there have like a news rule anymore. Probably should have looked at that first. Does anybody know? Is there anything about news, FOMC, unfundeds? I think this is a Tradeify. Maybe this is one of my Lucids. I gotta look. I probably should have done that first. Let's see. Tradeify has a no rules rule. So that's good to know. What about Lucid? Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought that they did. Yeah. Okay, TPT. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lucid and Tradeify have a, hey, if you're gonna do it, it's all you thing. But again, so you guys see that reaction there? That's like my concern with expecting too much to the downside through this strike is how much flow are we gonna get? And is it enough to persist and get things started below that spot? Are there any prop firms you can trade on mobile? See, grow. I mean, as long as, depending on your chosen platform, you should technically be able to trade it through Tradeivate or, whatever app, whatever platform it is, whatever broker they're going through. So if it's Tradeivate, you can use the Tradeivate app, which I loathe, by the way. That mobile app blows. I just have given up on it. But like trading view integration, you should be able to trade on mobile with pretty much any firm, I would think. Yeah, exactly. Luke. Yeah, guys, so this is the risk to taking a short without like a known kind of buffer resistance of a dealer long behind me that I really hate. I hate this trade, actually. I know it's a gamble, but I actually despise this trade. And this was why I said I didn't take one earlier. I didn't take it here because there's no kind of known resistance. All it takes is a strong bid through this position at 85. If we cover like 10 points on a strong pop, we could easily just rip all the way to 76.30. Obviously, there's the same potential to the downside, but this is kind of a decent, hey, we're buying futures here position. So I kind of hate it. I do. But we'll see what we get. Once price gets above or below a big green strike, how long do I wait to enter it? Do I enter immediately or wait for it to retest and enter? It depends on the rest of the profile, Vish. It's kind of conditional, right? Like what's around it. Today I was cautious because I said I want to see how it actually reacts when it gets touched. Initially, we only got down to like 77 and we got a strong bounce, right? So that told me, okay, it's probably pretty supportive. And then we immediately got this big vol spike sell. And we got the recovery even though price went under it, like it rebounded immediately. But I wanted to see like, okay, now that initial response happened, what do we get on another touch? Do you still get the same amount of support or not? So a day like today where there was red on either side of a single dealer long, I'm going to be a little extra cautious. That's why I gave myself a 10-point stop when we first kind of came down here. And then when we got the pop higher here, I said, once it hits 10 to 15 points of profit, I'm going to put it at break even because I don't trust it. And then what happened? I got stopped at break even on this big vol spike sell. So there are days where it's just easier to proceed with caution, right? Because it is a volatile day. So it does help to go into the day knowing like I'm going to be cautious today. You know, I don't need to say it again, but like at 8 o'clock, I am expected. I'm going to likely be hands off. I'm not really looking to do a whole lot. So this was just a warning sign for me on the day. Big range being priced in. Positions aren't super strong except for a couple key strikes. I'm going to be cautious. And I think that that was borne out for me in how I traded. So, woohoo! I will say, with about 10 minutes to go, I will tell my little story that I talked to Lamelli about yesterday from when I lived in Los Angeles and I got carjacked at gunpoint on the way to a job interview. So if anybody actually wanted to hear that story, I will share that before I pass the baton. But that is kind of a wild one from when I lived in Los Angeles. And I am actually proud of my song I created for Armani and his whole Thailand experience. I actually think it's a banger. But yeah. All right, guys. Again, if you are just joining, if you're kind of coming in late, if you're here getting ready for Lamelli, my name is Mitch. I am the Rake Trades Gamma guy. So what I have on my screen and what I like to talk to and trade around is the idea of market maker positions and how those positions can drive some influence in the market in the form of futures, and knowing kind of where they're positioned and where your risk lies can give you some really great forecasting in the market for, you know, ranges where you should expect rejections, where you can expect some support, and informing kind of an if-then plan for the day around that. Obviously, today is unique. It's a big FOMC day. We've got a lot of range priced in the market that we've been talking about, and kind of what would you need to see from FOMC to kind of tell you what to expect. So basically, this is the story right now. You either hold over this and you get a lot of buying flow in a hurry to get to the top of the range, or you get stuck around this middle strike and kind of chop around either side of it, which is largely what's been happening so far, or you get kind of sold down through the bottom of this range if volatility persists and you get shoved under the 75.70 on ES. honestly, this is a day where both things could happen, and could happen rapidly, right? Because of the volatility, because of the straddle pricing in, it actually went up by a point. It is not 42, it is now 43. So a 43-point range is being priced in. So this little blue, kind of lighter blue line you see is a representation of what positions are kind of considered influential at the moment. So we are in this weird spot where these positions are selling us back down to this one. Everything below us is kind of passively buying futures to keep us up here. And the only thing that will change that is if we sell into or through them. Same thing. The only reason you would get this move is if you actually had this kind of wind in your sails with some buying flow to send you up through that range in a hurry. So that is a crash course in the basics of what I talk about every day on here. Dug into Port Armani yesterday. Dude, it was just fun. It wasn't like not vicious or anything. It was just one of those, it's not every day you hear about some kid getting kidnapped by a ladyboy out of their hotel on vacation when they're 12. I mean, how do you not try to make something out of that? I mean, that song was something else. I actually was embarrassed for myself that I came up with those lyrics in like 2 minutes to make an AI song out of it to get it to chat. Like it was wild. So I was actually proud of myself and embarrassed at the same time that I could come up with those and that I actually thought it turned out well. It's like, should you be proud of this? But yeah. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, that's going to be so random, but somebody shared a story on stream yesterday about that life experience. And then we got started talking about all sorts of crazy vacation stories and whatever. So sometimes on a boring price action, you need to keep things lively in the chat, right? But yeah, to that point, I will say, with my story, sorry guys, 1 second here. Basically, the story for me is when I had first moved to Los Angeles, I had only been there for a few months, and I was going to a job interview that was in Venice Beach, and I lived in Hancock Park or Koreatown at the time. So I had a decent drive ahead of me, and I had stopped to get gas at a gas station on the corner of, Normandy, and it wasn't Wilshire, but it was south of Wilshire somewhere on Normandy, so I could get on I think it was the 405 or the 110, whatever connects you to Venice Beach going west. And I was in my car. I just finished pumping gas. I got a water from inside the gas station, and I got back in my car, and I was literally like looking at my phone trying to figure out like, okay, where do I need to go? And all of a sudden the door opened, and I looked over, and this guy just pulls his shirt up, and he goes, start the car, shut the fuck up. And I was just like, dude, my heart was pounding. I was like, oh my fucking God. I took my phone and I like shoved it under my leg next to me, hoping like he would see my phone and take my phone at the very least. And then he's like, drive. So I start driving. As I drive, I start hearing sirens. And I'm like, oh my God, did this guy like kill somebody and he's in my car? Am I going to get killed? What a lame way to go. I've only been here a couple months. I couldn't even get this job. And basically he starts driving me around and he goes, what are you getting into today? I was like, I'm actually going to have a job interview in a little while. And he goes, I hope you get it, bro. So then I was like, oh, so he's not going to kill me. And anyway, so I'm driving him around, and then dude, I'm like deep in the shit. I'm in like, not wherever the Randy's Donuts is. I don't know if that's Compton for sure. I'm trying to remember exactly where, but I was like deep in this neighborhood, and he had me drop him off. And my heart was pounding. I was like so thankful that he like didn't do anything to me, but he did take my wallet. And I literally, like, as I'm driving away, I gave it like a block, and I was like, I think I can still make it to this job interview. I called the cops, obviously, and I told him the street, and I said, I'm getting out of here. He has my wallet. I'm going to be here. Call me if you need anything else. I don't know which direction he went, but this is where I dropped him off, blah, blah, blah. Basically, I went to the job interview. I'm in the middle of the job interview. And then I get a phone call, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I have to take this phone call. It's the police. I got carjacked on the way over here, and they must need something from me. And the guy basically tried telling them he was my friend, and that's why he had my debit card. He had already tossed my wallet. He just took my debit card because I had no cash on me. And he had tried using it at like a deli place nearby there. And that's how we got popped, is like, you know, they were like, that's not you. And I'd already reported the card stolen. So it was a whole thing. But he did try to say that, like, oh, he was my friend. And then the people that were doing the job interview could not believe that I was there. And they were like, what are you doing here? Like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, it all came out, you know. I ended up getting the job, actually. Hopefully not because of that, but because of, you know, on the merits. But I legitimately did not drive down Normandy in that neighborhood for like the 7 years that I was there from that time. I refused to even go that way. I was like, what if this guy got out and he like remembers me? I was so paranoid at that point that I refused to go even that direction. So there's my getting carjacked in LA story for you. Woohoo. We'll catch up in the chat here. Yeah, right. How are you going to mess with a guy who shows up for work after he got carjacked? How do I set my TP? I mean, based on these ranges. So my expectation is if we break under this strike and we get some momentum and sell down here, we're probably going to get to like the next balance spot lower if it's aggressive selling. So that's why I would put my TP where I did. That's generally how I do it on these ranges. So if I were long from here and I said, I'm going to give myself a 5-point stop, we'll just do it as a counter trade, which honestly, if we don't get volatility and this guy ends up like being super Trump and talking about rate cuts, you can imagine that we would go all the way up here. So hopefully that makes sense. Rafi Anan. And I think I'd be more surprised at this point if we didn't catch a bid as opposed to selling. I'm just interested in selling because I know two things to be true. VIX has every possibility to clear 17 and then some based on the positioning information I know there for next week's VIX contracts. But same thing, you get some vol crush and you get a bid. It doesn't even have to be super strong in this environment, because if you clear this 75.85 with a little juice, this is nothing but air until you know you've basically got something sitting there to potentially stop you. It doesn't mean that if we get some kind of like huge ramp move, we have to stop right here at 76.30. It's just, that is how I would look at my ranges. So if I was long, I would be looking long from here to here. And if I'm short, I'm looking to fill this range. Yeah, right, guy. I'm happy I'm here too. I mean, that story goes a different way. I'm not sitting here streaming, right? Follow up to your other question. If price flies off from the big strike, do I still enter as the stop risk at that point would be bigger, or do I just let it go? I don't chase anything, Vish. So hopefully that answers that question. And you're not going to get like a conditional every time this is what I do answer, right? Because it's contextual. What does it look like? So if you're somebody who is trading off a 15-minute chart, you're probably not going to take the first touch here. You'd be looking for, like, I'm guessing, a failure to go lower on this pullback. And then you would be comfortable calling it like a double bottom, you know, whatever your preference is. If you're trading a 5-minute chart instead, at the same spot, right? If you're trading the 5-minute, you're probably not buying this right this second. Are you? Like, what fills you with confidence to take that trade one way or the other, you know? Again, I took this short. This was not the best short entry, guys. This was just kind of a super small size, 20-point stop. Do we get the big aggressive sell under the spot? So I'm just going to leave this open. If I get wicked out on a 20-point pop out of nowhere, fine. But this was just to have something on in case it goes the other way and we have some volatility that... Why did that change so bad? Oh, 15-minute candle. There you go. All right. So here we are. Now we wait, right? We are just waiting for the big event. But just to kind of put a button on what we talked about earlier, and my expectations for what happens after the data comes out and once the kind of speaking portion of Warsh's FOMC day kind of start wrapping up, is we have this 40-point straddle. So for you guys that are in here and you're late to join, this kind of light blue line is the current straddle price, which is kind of telling you what is the range expected or being priced in at this moment, and what does that tell me about my potential trading range, and what positions do I know market makers are holding in that range that might matter to me. That number, that 42-point range, is going to collapse pretty dramatically once we kind of get through the whole FOMC process, right? Because the only reason it's elevated is because there's this known event that is keeping the implied vol pretty high on a lot of these positions. So the range is pretty broad as a result. That will get crushed. So you have people that are buying way out of the money calls right now thinking we're gonna rock it. They can be right on the direction and they can maybe even get close to in the money. Those premiums are gonna decay so fast. That's the idea of IV crush, right? That is also why the straddle will come down and the range will not maintain or be as large the closer we get to expiration. The influence of these big strikes, though, as we get closer to the end of the day, will be very influential. Because as volatility comes down, the more influential these bigger positions will be in driving or dictating where we go. So, same story from the pre-market as it is right now. Key spots on the day: 75.70 on ES, then probably nothing until you get up here towards 50 on ES, or 650, and then to the downside from the pre-market, this was just a mess. Right now I think it's kind of down here. If we looked at the intraday positioning, it's like I said, this kind of 75, 25, 20 area is probably where things might start slowing down if you get the big volatility sell. And that's it for me. I don't really have anything else. Like even this speculative short, I would never take this. This is just a who cares MES trade, just to show you, like, if you were thinking we get selling, it's the idea of all of the volatility that sits under here can fill that range. That's the whole point of this short, is if we actually get sold under here and we get some volatility, we can flush down to about this area. You could absolutely make the same case to say if you cover this strike on a strong bid, you're going up here. I just went with the downside. Probably gets wrecked as soon as things start picking up. But that is kind of the day. That was the pre-market plan. Everything hinges on 75.70. You're either over it and holding over 7,600 to range higher, or you have some risk down below. But what do you need? You need vol. You need volatility, you need flow, you need selling. Right now, there's just nothing actively driving us anywhere. We're under this strike, so we're getting pointed here. If we're over that strike, we're going to go high in a hurry, right? But everything is kind of, your line in the sand is around 75.70 today. I FOMO'd in. I wouldn't say that. I put it on just as an example for if we get this move. But that's also why I have a wide stop. There you go. FOMC'd in. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. Christian is going to get started here in just 1 minute. We've obviously got our FOMC stuff today, so if you are going to trade it, trade safe. I am more than happy to just let this go if I get wicked out. No sweat off my back. We made enough money to get paid off of this funded tomorrow, so I'm willing to risk some profits. Oh, Jake is subbing in for FOMC. All right, well, the GOAT. You guys get the real genius for FOMC time. So you guys know my stance. I will give myself a little shout. Tomorrow, we do have OPEX. We kind of covered those positions a little bit today. So the big one was obviously 7,500 is the one on ES you want to be over. Otherwise, we have some big time drama tomorrow. And the other part of it is the VIX positioning. It can ramp in a hurry. So if we get some selling and some volatility and we're even sniffing down there going into tomorrow morning, there is the potential for some fireworks. So we'll cover that more. I'll post it to the Discord, maybe do an extra pre-market video for it on Instagram or something. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me, and now you get to enjoy your time with Jake. So I am officially hopping off. Stay tuned for the GOAT. Good luck, guys.
Yo, can you hear me? Yo, can you hear me? Now you probably heard me twice. Squadron. We're back. We're back. Echo should be gone in just a second. Just because I had it playing on loud. Mitch, shout out, brother. Thank you for an awesome session. I was able to catch a little bit of the end there. What is good? Chat. What is good, my friends? Rafi with the 1 to 10 R to R. Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, give me 1 second. Let me get some tunes on in the background here. And then I'm trying to get the FOMC speech ready to watch in like a different browser. How we doing, chat? Man, we really rejected that 471 exactly. Chat. How are you, my friends? I'm back. Oh, he's asking for me to do a $1 to $10 trade? Oh, man, I don't know if I can do that. It is me today, guys. Lomeli doesn't love FOMC, and I don't mind FOMC. I'm just eval trading. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be back. I'm kicking it with you guys. Honestly, I just want to take the chance more to just hang with the chat, answer a bunch of questions. Yeah, it's we're testing it out. We're not reinventing the wheel. Something like this exists. We just want to make one that like exists with our levels indicator. It's just the hourly chart overlaid. We're still tweaking it a little bit, but it's pretty cool so far. Let's see. Right? So you just see like this is the NASDAQ chart for the day. And this is what the hourly chart looks like. And you can kind of see the hourly in real time. So it's pretty cool. I think if you have the Discord subscription, this should already be available to you. But we're still tweaking it. It's like very much beta mode. But it's just, we're trying to, it's just an idea that I previously saw on. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel on it. But I just asked Connor, could he make it, you know, effectively the same as our levels indicator? And he was able to put something together. So it's cool. Let's full port Tradeify growths. Nah, man, I got to keep my Tradeify growths alive. But I'd full port something else, another eval. Nah, I can't. Yeah, right, guy. I know you. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah. If you're in there already, it should be an add-on. And yeah, Sean's, we're not. It's something like there out there exists. I just wanted it to be easy to find for people who are already using my levels one. I don't know what the exact name of it is, but it's out there. It's just the concept is it's again it's not trying to bring. I just wanted to make it convenient for me and for our users. But I'm not trying to be here like it's first of our kind, et cetera, et cetera. Let me see. I'm on my MFFU funded. Can you go over your yeet and base hit strategy? Yeah, that's an aggressive terminology for it. Yeet and base hit is I don't know if I'd call it that, but I mean I do like that. That's a funny name. But effectively what the idea is if the funded stage has no consistency rule, it's just math at this point, this is an approach where effectively what you are doing is you're playing a leverage game, right? So for example, I had a Lucid Flex account that has no consistency rule on funded. And on the very first day, I was able to get like $8,000 in profit or something like that. Now, the payout cap is $3,000. So I can't even withdraw all that money, right? But the rules are that there is no consistency rule. That 8,000, all I have to do is just stack winning days of whatever the minimum is on those accounts. I think it was 250. So I just had to win for 4 more days of 250, and I had $8,000 of drawdown to do it, right? And so in theory, you could take a trade with 3 minis or 2 minis, and as long as you hit $250 profit before you go minus 8,000, the account will stay alive, right? Now, there's a flips again. This is playing the game with props, right? This is very much the game. They're probably not a huge fan of me talking about this. But it just makes it takes it so that most of the variation on your trading, and I'm not advocating for this, by the way. I'm just explaining that this is a method to do that traders do, not just me, but traders in general. This is a method that's done on accounts that have no consistency rule in the funded stage, right? Where effectively what you try to do is take a risk early on. Like, let's say you have a 150K account. That's going to have 4.5K of drawdown, usually, something around that range, right? Aim for a 1-to-1. I still always aim for higher R to R, but that's just me. What you could do is literally aim for a 1-to-1. First trade, hope to make 4,500. From there, flip for $150 days until meet requirements. Again, not an advocate for this because most traders out there do not have the current history of success that it would make financial sense to do this, right? But if you have a proven track record with yourself, you know that you're a capable trader and you know that you're capable of doing this, it almost kind of makes sense. Now, you just have to weigh what is the initial cost, because I guarantee you guys, the prop firms have done these equations. they know what their initial cost, initial purchasing is, and they know how much someone can get out, right? So you know how many tries would it take and all that. But it's just math at that point. So I like to do that on accounts that have no consistency on funded. And again, I don't do that. It's like, for example, my Tradeify growths, those have a consistency rule. So I don't do that on those, because it doesn't make sense. On those, I just try to make $2,000 per trade per winning day. So let me say, add a big note here. Because then the other thing is, eventually people talk shit about being moved live. I don't get it, truthfully, even if I've been one of those people in the past. Nowadays, with the prop firm models, having a bunch of live accounts is like super fire. If you told me that which is now kind of what I'm trading for a bit, if you told me I could get 5 funded with 5 live accounts, with Lucid, with Tradeify, with Take Profit, with My Funded, whatever, right? If I could get 5 live accounts with each, gives you a bunch of bullets on the day, but then a bunch of uncapped payout accounts, right? And so if you catch a short like yesterday and you hold it well, there's no payout caps. You can just get all of the money at once, and you're still technically not risking anything of your own, right? So there's this stigma against live accounts. And I understand on some level, like, would you rather be copy trading 5 that you can just reset, or would you rather be trading 5 live? I get that. But like, the real question you should be asking is, would I rather be copy trading sim accounts with a payout cap, or would I rather have 5 live accounts with no payout caps? It's the no payout caps is kind of where the industry is shifting to. So yeah, that's my rant. That's my rant. Sorry, not even a rant. That's just me answering a question. Somebody asked a question, but that's what I try to do. Really just aim for 1-to-1. Excuse me. I'll also say this. A part of the reason that I succeed well with prop firms, and that anyone can, is with a good understanding of math. Again, everything comes back to math, guys. Everything comes back to math. I normally trade at least a 2-to-1 R-to-R strategy, right? I like big winners. I like big moves. So a lot of the trades I look for have big R-to-R, right? Because of that, my win rate is naturally lower. And that's nothing of my own fault. It's just, again, math. Whenever you're aiming for higher R-to-R, your win rate goes down. It's math. So when you aim for lower R-to-R, the flip happens. Your win rate goes up. So my win rate on a 1-to-1 is actually quite high, right? If I'm only aiming for 1R, that happens a good amount of the time with the way I trade. It's just not the way that I like to trade. Overall, I found I make more money when I aim for higher R-to-R. I'm happier. Like, it's just a life thing. But on prop firms, if you're taking bigger risks, a lot of the times aiming for 1-to-1 can do you just wonders. And so, yeah, I tend to do really well with accounts. And it's almost weird because even the eval becomes easier because you're risking 1-to-1 in the, you're risking 2-to-1 technically in the, it's prop firms are very profitable. As a trader, once you figure out the math behind them. All right, my friends. I love you guys. Happy FOMC. Sorry, first time checking the chat. We'll dive into the charts in just a second here. What is good? Jake's real wifey. Oh my gosh. That's no way. The wifey. Hello. Good afternoon, chat. I am subbing in for Little Melly today. He doesn't really do FOMC. He doesn't really fucks with it. And I kind of do fucks with it. So I figured, hey, I'll pop in. I'll rock today. And he'll be back tomorrow like nothing ever happened. So I'm subbing in for him today. I'm sorry. I know you guys might, if you guys miss him, don't hold it against him. I was happy to do FOMC today. So happy Wednesday, my friends. I don't have a super strong bias for FOMC. I would lean down, though. Just given that we're off of the opening print, I'm going to remove this stuff, guys. Just given that we're off of the opening print. Yeah. We're under the opening print. We're rejecting the level. My guess would be lower. My guess would be, and again, guys, if you're wondering what's to the right here, just a new tool we're messing around with, something that Connor, one of my team members, built, where it just overlays the hourly chart onto whatever time frame you're watching. We're tweaking it. It's in beta mode. I want to make it specific to the way I trade. But yeah, so that's it. Kind of gives me a look of like, say, hey, this is what the 15-minute looks like. During that same time frame, here's what the hourly looks like. So we're just taking a look. I would lean lower. I also kind of think we just stay in a range. So I'm more here to answer questions today, guys, truthfully. I may trade an eval or two, but I lost about $5,000 earlier today on a real live money account. It was a TPT live, but it was still a live account. And I don't really want to. I'm pretty content losing 5,000 on the day. So if I risk anything, it is going to be on some evaluations. But I'm happy to do the evaluations. Chat. Oh man, I miss you guys too. I like hanging with the afternoon squad. Dude, I don't think I'll have a beer, but I definitely will be smoking joints. In between my streams, I went out and I sat by the pool, and I just sat and tanned for like an hour. It was pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think I look tan right now though. Nah, maybe it's just the lighting. But I gotta work on this. I want this to be real tan by the time I get to London. Will you trade FOMC? I do think so. It's going to be an eval, but I am open to trading it. Or let me see what accounts I got and if there's anything I need. But I think I already traded all of the accounts I have today. I guess I could. I guess that's what I should be doing. Working on getting a new funded, you know? My friends, how are we? Yes, I have had TPT Pro Plus. That's what I'm trading right now. Although they might move me back because I just nuked that one today. Jake, I imagine you're a pretty wealthy guy. How come you don't trade personal capital? I do trade personal capital. Most of the time I do. I've just been on a hot run with prop firms over the last like 3 weeks or so. And I'm just kind of keep riding that wave. Yeah, while I'm trading well with them, I'm pretty happy about it. And it's not like I'm not making good money. You know, in the month of June so far, I've gotten 27K in payouts and I haven't spent a ton. So it's still good money. Like if you told me at the end of June with my own money that I ended up making $30,000, I'd be pretty happy. So I do think at some point in the next few months, I'll probably transition back to trading my own cash mostly. But while I'm riding with the prop firms and while I've got these accounts with big balances that I can just keep stacking payouts from, just kind of riding the wave right now. Again, it's still good money, and I'm basically risking nothing, you know? So that's the super nice part. But I do trade my own money, big advocate of it. I just haven't taken a ton of personal account risk in the last few weeks. Yeah. You talked about a gold long this morning. Let me look at the gold chart here. Oh man, nice. Yeah. Yeah, gold was in a bit of a bull flag. See, this is why I like this. This is why I like this tool, guys. And again, we're still refining it. But you combine it with the levels indicator, and it's like, not only could you see a bullish move up in gold, but you could see the consolidation at the level kind of acting as a 1, 2, 3. And that being visualized real nicely on the hourly chart over here. That's a nice long, guys. Hopefully some people got to partake in that. Man. Good studying to be done there too, guys. If you're out there and you're looking at how to get better at it as a trader, study reactions to the opening print, you know? Here today on gold, 2 very telling reactions at the opening print that could have led you to identify a nice looking long. I don't know how gold typically reacts to FOMC, but it's probably painting us a story right now. Gold is also a good study on the daily chart, guys. We had that inside bar break to the upside. It's a nice long, man. I was definitely watching it this morning. I just tried to, what did I try? I tried to long the NQ instead. And the ES. We did end up mostly just range chopping on the day. So that's one of the questions people ask me a lot of times is how do I deal with like the losing days and stuff like that? One, eventually, you know, you just get older and experienced with handling them, and you've been through it so much it doesn't affect you much anymore. But the other way is it helps me when the market doesn't really go anywhere. You know, like, yeah, I lost $5,000 today, but I don't see a trade that was gonna make me 10 or 20 that I missed. You know what I mean? So that makes it a little bit easier to deal with. All right, guys, we've got 7 minutes till FOMC. I've got no fucking clue where we go from here. We're under the opening print right now on all the indices. Well, not even on all the indices. The Dow is at all-time highs. The IWM is probably close or at all-time highs. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I mean, the indices are kind of indices. I think that the YM, the RTY, and gold are telling us that the market might be bullish. So I'm not rushing to short yet. No rushing to short. Not yet. Not immediately, at least. We'll see. But gold looks like the most bullish of the assets so far. That looks like an even bullish hourly chart on the ES as well. Just range bound, man. Just range bound. Do you copy trade the prop accounts? So, my friends, my rule on copy trading is I like to copy trade 50K accounts. Those I like to copy trade. I like to individually trade the 150Ks. So this is a 150K that's just been individually traded. It's up a lot. I just keep every week. I just try and take 3 to 5,000 from it. Last week I got 3. This week hopefully I'll get 4 or whatever the number is. Then eventually they'll move me live. Oh, that's a good point, guys. Good point. If you have a funded account that has FOMC rules, make sure you've closed your trades before it. So don't hold a trade into the FOMC if you're on a funded account or an account that has those rules, which is a lot of prop firms. A lot of prop firms have those rules. All right, I'm going to grab a water. 1 second. 1 second. All right, my friends. Let's see what we can get today. I'll tell you what, the NQ has become a bit clear to me. It's all about this level. The NQ is all about that 71s level. So that's my key spot for the day. My key spot is this 471s level. Above that, I think the NQ paints a bit of a different story. If we keep holding below it, good chance we trend lower. Is TPT the only one that has it? I feel like a lot of firms have FOMC rules. I don't know. Check with the firm, guys. I just assume they all have a rule, truthfully. I assume they're all I assume they are all anti-FOMC. All news is okay on Lucid. Okay, I'm wrong. Gold, man. Let's see how this eagle eye does when I just do auto time frame. Oh, this is cool. Lucid and Tradify are okay. Guys, I'm not, I wish I knew. I'm sorry. Maybe, actually, no. Keep asking in the chat. Maybe the other people in the chat will know. I'm sorry that I don't have the answer. I don't know. I just don't trade the news within the 2 minutes before or after. So I'm not saying you can't, but I would just look at the prop firm, or maybe some other people in the chat might know. Let's see. You put a gun to my head right now with this action, I'd say higher. I don't feel great about it, but I feel okay about it on ES, actually. All right, my friends, 1 minute away from FOMC time. MT, you just go to WAP, and it's the same place that you claimed the levels indicator. You'll claim another one. It should be there. So the same place you claim the levels indicator, it should be right there. I think the chances of a spike are high, but I don't think it's necessarily tradable. Let's see. I need to buy an eval. Is Alpha still 25% off? If that's the case, I'm going to go with Alpha. Alpha's still 25% off on the premium plans. I'm going with that. I just want to do the same thing I did on this account where I just ran it up. This free money now. All right, FOMC is out. So far, we are seeing a spike down, my friends. We got a little pop over the high and a push down. What was the news? No change in rates. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Sorry for the burp. Did we once again reject 471s? I mean, dude, I really don't. The nice part about this indicator is I don't do much advertising. It does it for me. That's crazy. So, all right, let's see if this weakness stays sustained, guys. Let's see if this weakness stays sustained. 471s is the key spot. The only thing that bugs me is every time I try to buy an account from Alpha, Wells Fargo sends me a message and they're like, "Are you sure this is you?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Yeah, dude. I've bought a fucking I've bought a variety of these before. This is not the first time this purchase." All right, my friends. While it might look super bearish, again, beware. We haven't really gone anywhere. We're just spiking into the low of the day here. So this isn't obscenely bearish yet. I think I like more candles. I don't know. I gotta see. I'm still experimenting with this eagle eyes. Big spikes down, guys. ES taking out the low of the day. I know Mr. Mitch Gamma had mentioned selfishly he'd like a move down. Does the prophecy get fulfilled? We're selling hard so far. Let's see what we can get, my friends. That's a nice little start, though. That's a hard bar down. Okay. Well, I don't want to just yeet something, so I'm going to be specific here. Where's the gap at? So the gap is technically not filled until 7,500. That's a big bar too. This is no joke of a range today. So I expect continued movement this afternoon. When we have that big of a 5-minute candle to start, we generally aren't done moving. So okay, my bearish is to the downside. My bias, excuse me, is to the downside. NQ rejecting that 471 once again. I don't know. Does FOMC affect oil prices? Not much of a reaction there at all. I'll tell you what, that does not look good. Burn it down, baby. Man, I wish I had taken a short just against the level there. Gold with the Tankerton. Gold now a harsh failure to go higher. I wonder if this weekly starts to fail too. I wonder if this weekly chart on gold starts to fail. Gold is now shoved underneath the overnight low. NQ. Woo! Guys, shout out Mr. Mitch Gamma, man. My dog been calling it. I do 300 look back days, 300 look back days, and then however many max levels. Yeah, but like 300 look back days covers most of what you need. Or this is just 100. This yeah, 300 look back days. ES with a quick shove down and now a level test, I believe, at 75.21. I'm not so sure about buying this dip, guys. I am more interested in a short entry. But I'm also not chasing, so let's see what we can get. Let me refresh this page. I'm not going to trade the funded account. I'm just going to trade the new eval I bought. Aggressive movement. We did fill that gap, though. Let's see, my friends. Staying patient. Not trying to force the issue on anything. I'm here, but hey, will somebody send the link for the speech one more time? I'm going to try to load it as a browser we can watch. Oh shit, is Ronaldo play? Is the World Cup right now? Guys, I haven't been watching much of the World Cup. Do I need to? The first day I watched was super boring. Yeah, that Messi hat trick I heard was sick. That I heard was sick. I stopped. Last night was the night I didn't watch. I watched the night before. So far, guys, we are holding this 75.21 level well. We got the gap fill. We got what I think a lot of bears wanted. How long does the World Cup go? When does it end? Let me look it up. Well, we got a good month of it. All right. Time for me to lock in. I won't be in New York for it, though. I'll definitely be in London. So I might root for the UK. All right, my friends, let's see. It's hard. This is a really bearish initial move down, but we've now held a lower level. So let's see. Usually when I trade FOMC, I like to wait till 2:30 when they start talking. Wait, is this the first FOMC with no Powell? Wow. Beginning of a new era, bruh. Damn. No Jerome on the beat? Dude, gold looks super bearish, guys. My guess would be gold is the easiest trade of the day. And I also kind of leads me to think that the NQ might go lower as well eventually. This does not look like it wants to hold much. This looks like a weekly failure to go higher. See how the weekly chart went above the previous week's high? Kind of looks like now it wants to fail. Let's see, though. No rush. I like to wait for the speaker usually. I'm thinking about trying a short stab, but we're holding that previous low well. What the hell is that? I might try a short here. I did try a short here. Just going to leave it with a very wide stop for now. Just 2 contracts. Man, I was going to do 4 contracts, but that's okay. Still feels like there's a decent chance of liquidation, so I'm gonna be patient. Turn off the eagle eye for now. We shall see, my friends. I just took a 2-minute sell that could very easily fail. But I like the risk to reward, and I like the Nuke chance. The reason my stop is a lot higher than that initial bar is just because FOMC tends to be a bit sweepy until the speakers come on. Okay, well then I might exit there. Oh man, when you're cold, guys, but what you did for me. All right, I'm closing it out. I tried a little scalp short. Not mad about it, but when you're cold, you're cold. Let's see what they start talking about when they come on here. I told you to go long. Yes, guys, I love you. I'm not listening to the chat. I love y'all, though. But keep throwing your ideas in here, truly. I just don't want you to be mad at me when I don't listen to them. I unfortunately kind of think that it looks like the most fun of the day was just shorting the level, man. No, I don't. That's the thing. If we were gonna go lower, we kind of should have done it already. Like the entry I took, in theory, should have worked. It's okay if it doesn't, but like, not super. We'll see. But that really was like kind of what I wanted. Would have been better had the speakers started. Which hold on. Let me try and find the link for these speakers, man. All right, here we go. I'll throw that on the screen when the time comes. Lomeli is out today. He is back tomorrow. Just swapping over for FOMC. Hey, 75.21 is holding for now. All right, let me try and load up this press conference. When the time comes, look at me, guys, figuring out technology. When the time comes, we can just put the new speaker right above my head and actually listen together. Look at that. Look at me, guys. I'm good at technology. Look at me, man. Look at me figuring out technology. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the love. All right, guys. I'm here. Hit me with any other questions you got. I'll be honest. Some days you just don't have it as a trader. I've lost $5,000 of real money and an eval today, so I'm not super eager to lose more. But I will be willing to take one more trade at as soon as they start speaking. Once they start talking, I'll be willing to take something else. I appreciate you. I appreciate the like. Any other questions you guys got, though? Feel free to fire away. During New York session, it's really fast, you know. Man, I'd love to go to a World Cup game and stream. Trying to do more content like that. I'm working on a vlog of my last week right now. I'm hoping to get that out by like Sunday. Today was a tricky one. Remember, guys, one thing that I particularly am really good at is just risk management. I know it might not seem like it when you guys are watching me, based on however you define risk management, but that's one place that is actually a skill set of mine. And I hope that is visible, right? If I have winning days that are XXX and my losing days are YYY, you know, hopefully that visualizes. But don't let the last 2 weeks fool you. It's been a hot run. Usually I have a couple losing days every week. You know, so I think that's probably one of the biggest things that separates traders that are over the hump versus those who are still trying to get over that hump is just the like acceptance of frequency of losing. It's actually quite common. You know, you'll have times where you'll go on a 2-week hot streak or a 1-month hot streak, or I've seen people have win streaks of like 2 months. It's great. You'll also have losing streaks of like a month, but the vast majority of days of weeks will be some winners, some losers. It's just the honest truth of it. All right, let's see. We got 6 minutes till these fooligans start talking. Sometimes good, sometimes shit is super accurate. Pasha, if you've been struggling with zero DTEs, don't hesitate to move off them. And yeah, if the swings have been working well, hell yeah. I think zero DTEs are a whole different kind of beast in and of themselves, right? So I wouldn't force yourself to try and be successful with zero DTEs. So we did get a 5-minute trigger here, guys. I'm not taking a re-entry. I gotta wait until these guys start talking. But once they do, I'm open to taking something else. We did just trigger a sell there, technically under that low. Stops above that high. If you target that level, which is part of the reason I took the trade a couple minutes ago, is I was targeting the level down here. But I'm not in this. That would be crazy if that's the one that worked, though. When is the podcast with Andrew coming out? I don't know. That was filmed with him. It's not really even a podcast. It was more just like a little conversation. It should be a short YouTube video. That was a good one. It was a short combo, though. Short combo for sure. I didn't even know we were going to do that. Like, I just thought he was in New York. I thought we were going to hang out. But then, there were, you know, why not? If we're there, why not shoot some content? Still waiting patiently here. No trades for me. Sorry, I'll take that off. Not in anything. I'd like to let us range a little bit for. I do not have one mentor. I am the product of a variety of mentors and mostly the product of myself studying a lot of charts. I have a variety of mentors, though. I've worked and learned from like 5 different people before I kind of figured out my own thing. I don't know, bro. Are they going to say whatever they need? Do you know if this guy is going to be bullish? I feel like it's his first time there, you know? First time, new meeting. I guess you're right. First time, new meeting. You know, we definitely could have a... he could simply talk just to make the market pump. It is his first time, his first FOMC meeting. So you never know, my friends. You never know. What else did I miss? Where you get the energy to go this hard every day? ADHD, bro. ADHD. Yeah, I was born like this. Man, I don't know, guys. The fact that it's their first meeting kind of sets the tone a little bit, you know? Oh, of course. There's no more classic way for me to get FOMC'd than wicked out, you know? Classic. What is your age, bro? I'm 30. I'm 30. If Trump did have a guy... If this is Trump's new guy, then maybe. I don't know. So many conspiracy theories. Soon we'll just find out. The new week opening gap did not close. Yeah, we could still go down and close it. It doesn't have to fill. There's technically a gap, guys. There's technically a gap still from like 2001. So gaps don't need to fill. It's just helpful if they do. This I would consider close enough, but I lean towards moving down. I lean towards moving down. That's my thought. Hand up though. I already got stopped on a short today. What long-term investments do you have? Dude, all I tell people nowadays, just buy the SPY. Just there's no better long-term investment. Well, that's not true, but the safest long-term investment is just put in a auto buy on the SPY every week. That's fair, dude. Honestly, guys, very fair. He says here, I'm cold, so you move up. Dude, that's accurate. I have lost a lot of trades today. So, I mean, he is not wrong, guys. All right, whoa, they're coming to talk. They're coming to talk. Do you guys think he says good afternoon? Powell would always say good afternoon. Oh, it's this dude. What do you guys think? Does he say good afternoon?
Good day.
Oh, shit!
It's an honor, a true honor to be back at the Federal Reserve and to take up this duty at a time of such consequence.
Good day? Fuck you.
I've
You
been
know,
especially
pal.
heartened by the warm welcome of old friends and new colleagues both.
That asshole knew
I've listened
exactly what he was
closely
doing.
To my fellow FOMC members. Heard a lot of new ideas, new thinking, and genuine interest in moving the Fed forward. This week's FOMC meeting exemplified the very best of the Fed's traditions: rigorous debate, open-mindedness, commitment to mission, responsibility, and accountability for performance. In this business, they all add up to one thing: getting monetary policy right, or as near to it as we can do. That is our North Star. My colleagues and I are here to serve our legislative remit, which you've heard us say before: price stability and maximum employment. And these objectives guided our business in the meeting just concluded. As you saw a few moments ago, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the Fed funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75% in support of the Fed's dual mandate. The committee also reaffirmed its policy of maintaining ample reserves in the banking system. Economic activity is expanding at a solid pace, despite elevated uncertainty that owes in part to the conflict in the Middle East. Productivity growth.
Bro, I'm just going to watch this dude for a minute.
Both strong. Job gains have kept pace with the workforce, and the unemployment rate has changed little. We recognize that inflation has been running well ahead of the Fed's long-stated inflation goal of 2%. That's
Volatility is
more than
kicking
5
in.
years. Persistently high prices are a burden for the American people. But the recent past need not be prologue. I am pleased to report that members of the FOMC are unambiguous and unanimous. This committee will deliver price stability.
Oh, price stability, you say,
In any
motherfucker.
institution, a change in leadership is a natural and timely opportunity to reaffirm its mission, to review current practices, and to consider whether those practices best meet our objectives. My Fed colleagues and I will be working in close collaboration to ask what changes might improve the conduct of monetary policy.
What changes
I'm
indeed?
sure you might have already noticed something. A difference in today's
Gold
policy
with some weakness here,
It's a
guys.
bit shorter, a bit simpler.
I'm very
it's
tempted to
expensive
try an
with
NQ or
language.
ES short.
That statement just gives you the facts as best we can judge it. Absent also is so-called
Basically need a
forward
100-point
guidance,
stop loss, though.
which we agreed was not well suited to the current policy conjuncture. This afternoon, you also received the usual summary of economic projections.
And I've literally been ice
It's been
cold,
the
so I don't
practice
want
of
to.
this committee
I'm
for
not
participants to submit
the
these
one to follow
projections,
today.
and I have encouraged my colleagues to continue to do so. I, however, have refrained from offering any projections of my own.
No trade
consistent
yet.
with my long-held views on the SEP, at least as currently structured. In the median projections, real GDP rises at 2.2% this year, 2.3% next year, and total PC inflation runs at 3.6% this year, 2.3% next year. The unemployment rate stands at about 4.3%. The median participant judges that the appropriate federal funds rate to be at 3.8% at the end of this year and 3.6% at the end of next. Let me turn now to a few words on a key initiative that we're announcing today. I'm appointing a task force in each of 5 areas that are central to the broad conduct of monetary policy. First, Fed communications. Second, the Fed's balance sheet. Third, our use and reliance on existing data sources. Fourth, productivity and jobs in an era of transformation. And last, the Fed's inflation frameworks. These subjects are timely, consequential, and in my view, worthy of a fresh look. My colleagues and I discussed them with energy and purpose over the last couple of days. For each of these independent task forces, I'm enlisting some of the very best minds, both inside and outside the economics profession.
I will jump off a
They will be
bridge.
supported by subject matter specialists from our superb Fed staff. And they'll have a straightforward charge. Start with first principles. Ask hard questions. Examine current practice. Consider alternatives. And ultimately, propose next steps for policymaker consideration. Since last summer, my colleagues discussed possible improvements in the form and function of Fed communications. This new task force will build on that effort, and I expect propose some well-considered changes, including to the SEP I mentioned a few moments ago.
I like this. This guy's got me more entertained than Powell, honestly.
We'll review the benefits and risks of the current ample reserves regime and the composition of the Fed's balance sheet. They will assess alternative frameworks
What a
for the
nightmare of
conduct
action, though.
and operation of monetary policy. The third task force, the one on data, will evaluate new information sources and consider methodological changes to improve data gathering, with the aim of giving policymakers more accurate, relevant, contemporaneous, and perhaps most important, actionable information on the state of our economy. Fourth, the task force on productivity and jobs. It'll survey the pace, the reach.
I just checked the chat.
Of new general
No ideas what the fuck
technologies,
he's talking about.
including
I don't know what
AI,
he's talking about, but he sounds
and
good. He
explore
sounds
the
confident.
implications for the Fed in pursuit of our employment and inflation mandates. The last task force, the one on inflation frameworks, that'll examine the drivers of inflation, first principles, and weigh the full range of ideas for delivering price stability in a changing economy. You'll hear quite a bit more about these task forces and this overall initiative in the coming weeks. Enough for now to make a simple statement. Each task force will serve an objective shared by everyone in the system, shared by everyone around that table that I sat with over the last couple of days. A Federal Reserve that is clear-eyed about its mission, fit for purpose, and focused on the future. And with that, I appreciate your attention. I'm happy to take your questions.
All right, let's see what the good questions are.
Hi, Chairman Howard Schneider with Reuters. Good to see you again, and welcome back.
Gold
this
is
will
the
have to be
weakest
put in
one
motion,
out there, my
so
friends.
fast. What is the timeline you have in mind for each of these?
So I think it'll depend on the task force. It also depends on the urgency in which we need clear answers. My expectation, I'm still in the business of recruiting and finalizing them. My expectation is the task forces will begin work in the next couple of weeks, and we'll start to get some more information from them, some more
What the hell?
framing of how
Where'd he
they
go?
see things starting in the fall end, hopefully most, if not all of them, concluding by year end.
And just specifically on the inflation framework, you talk about first principles. Does this include a review of the 2% target itself? You've mentioned that things to the right of the decimal point don't matter. Should this be starting from a premise that 2% as a
Right
point
back into
estimate
that
is too
471.
strict?
Let me break that into two pieces. First, on the inflation framework review, their remit is...
This is an
what are the
alpha
drivers
account
of inflation?
at
It's the Fed's
240K.
responsibility for inflation. In part, how do we measure inflation? But that'll overlap with my data group. On the 2% inflation objective, that is the Federal Reserve's long-held objective of 2%. You've heard me say before, I tend to focus on the left of the decimal point. Well, the 2 is the left of the decimal point. For now, 0 is to the right. I see no reason until we have reestablished our commitment and ability to deliver on the 2% inflation objective to revisit that. So that'll be outside the scope of what we're taking on.
RTY holding the opening print here.
Thank you so much. Colby Swift with the New York Times. You've in the past said that inflation is a choice, and in the policy statement, it includes this pledge to deliver price stability, as you've reiterated today. But looking at the SEP, the bulk of your colleagues expect core PCE to run around 3.3% by year end, and for the 2% inflation target not to be reached until 2028. So I'm curious how patient you think the Fed can afford to be at this juncture in terms of waiting.
Appreciate you, man. This account was a
one-time
150K account, so yeah, it's up a
and
lot.
for inflation to step
I won't even be
down
able to take
after
most of
several
this money
years
out,
of
but now it's just
inflation running
free.
above target.
As long as I stack
And under what
$150 winning
circumstances
days,
you would
it's just
support
free
the
money.
Fed taking some action and
I
raising
think I get
rates?
like they'll move me live soon enough. Whenever they move me live, they'll move me live with the full max.
First, we have the capability.
So, yeah,
and
it's good, it's
commitment
good, it's
to
good.
deliver on our.
Although
price
I
stability
still, guys,
objective of
I have not been
2%.
able to hit
That's exactly
literally
what we're
shit
going to
today.
do.
I'm 0 for like 5.
In the Fed's
This
review of
eval got
strategy over
cooked.
the last any number of years, in January, the Fed, including the strategy.
try
that
one
we're
more,
still
man.
bound by, the Fed statement says that inflation is primarily determined by monetary policy. You bet it is. I've said for years inflation is a choice. You bet it is. And today I'm announcing that this committee unambiguously and unanimously have decided we are going to deliver on that. The rest of your questions sounded like an encouragement for me to give forward guidance. We've dropped forward guidance. Some along the committee, I think, dropped it, I suspect, from our discussion the last couple of days, because they said at this moment in time, it doesn't feel as though providing forward guidance is right. Others have, I'd say, different views and think as a general proposition.
Appreciate
forward
you
guidance
guys.
is the business we should be in. But that'll be taken
Shout
up
out
by the
Blizzard.
task force on communications
Dude, I
and
hope
my
you guys are making money. I
policymaker,
can't believe I'm
colleagues. We're gonna
ice cold,
listen hard to
man.
what the experts say and make our own decision. But I can't give any forward guidance about what we're going to do next. The good news is we'll be meeting in 6 weeks.
So just following up, I guess, on the
What is
current
happening with
policy settings
the,
then, I am curious how restrictive you think things are at the current moment, given the flow of data that we've seen and, forecasts that are coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I've heard characterizations both inside and the Fed about that. I'll give you my own. It's uneven. If I look at the housing markets as one example, Fed policy isn't the single determinant of the state of the housing market, but broadly I would say Fed policy appears to be somewhat restrictive. I would have a hard time managing to say those words if I were to see what's happening in financial markets. So I'd say it's uneven. That's perhaps a function of different transmission mechanisms of monetary policy, whether monetary policy is coming from our interest rate tool or our balance sheet tool. But the good news, we have a task force on that too, and the balance sheet task force will be looking more at that subject.
You've said you don't like forward guidance. You dropped it from the statement this time. But with the dot plot, 9 members suggested that they want a rate increase by the end of the year. And the markets have taken that as forward guidance. So what does this mean in terms of how you guide the markets and in terms of what the dot plot's future is?
I'm going to have to give you the same answer I gave to Ms. Smith.
We're finally getting over that
I'll
471.
give you a little bit more. I reviewed the dot plots, and when I saw the submissions, I noted that all the submissions were coming in with pencils.
All right.
Those kind with the big erasers.
Not even sure I'm going to trade it, but
That's to say that I think
I'm
my
here.
colleagues around the table, when they submitted their dots, understand the world is changing quite quickly. And they didn't feel bound by them 6 weeks from now or 6 days from now in the event that their circumstances change.
We are finally clearing
What I heard around the
471.
table was, as they submitted their modal forecasts, to be clear, weren't, this was more likely than not. This was more likely than their other scenarios. So I didn't hear tons of conviction. What I heard was the kind of humility that I think we should have. I did not submit a dot. For me, it's not helpful in the conduct of policy. I suspect by year end, as I mentioned in my opening statements, there'll be a review about communications broadly, press conferences, dots, meetings and the like, transcripts, minutes. This will be part of that. I don't want to prejudge the outcomes there, but I'm pretty open-minded about what they could be. And I was just incredibly impressed over the last couple of days. My colleagues over the last 2 days, and frankly, over the first 3 weeks I've been here, they've been very open about changes. Change isn't easy, change is filled with risk, but our number one goal is to get monetary policy right. The way to get monetary policy right is to deliver on the remit that Congress gave us.
Guys, I don't think I feel
stability.
comfortable enough
And there was, no
to
disagreement on any of those points.
do anything right
Risk
now.
of, possibly getting
I just
the
don't
same
feel like I
answer about
feel
task forces.
like I'll be honest with you.
What is your feeling about these
If
news
I
conferences?
bought the
Are you going to
471
continue,
level here and I
after
lost, I would
every meeting,
jump off a bridge.
Do you think find them useful?
So I think that
What
means
is
I just
the
have to call it a
future of
day
the
and
way
just
Kevin Walsh
accept.
will communicate?
Well, this one's probably
know,
over 15 or 20 minutes in it. So
it's
I
not
don't
always your
prejudge
day.
The outcome.
So I'm chilling, bro. Chilling mode activated, guys. Fire away any
Conferences can
questions.
be a
I'm happy to
very
answer.
Useful way to communicate with households, businesses, and more broadly through using the likes of you. I had a great.
But I don't wanna
mentor
risk
named
any more
George
money.
Schultz, and his mantra.
I'm done losing on the day,
Press
man.
conferences are useful, but when you have one, you want to make sure you have something important to say. Today, I think we had something important to say about our commitment to deliver on price stability, our commitment to rethink practices with an eye of moving the Fed forward, and to give you and the American people a sense that these aren't idle thoughts, these are concrete thoughts, that we're going to seek out the best minds, both the best thinking.
Oh, I love you guys, man.
And the best people
I'm mad
in
chilling, don't
business
worry.
And economics and the academy and technology and the rest to share their views. That's what we're going to be doing here, the pursuit of truth. I think we're going to come up with some new and interesting things. We made some changes today. I expect more changes to come. And some of those might well be worthy of a press conference.
Hi, Chris Rugaber.
Hi, are we all cool
Thanks
pausing
for,
this guy?
taking our questions. Could you give us a sense of how you see inflation more in the long term? I know you may not want to comment on the ups and downs, but is this
We're gonna pause for a second because I want to answer some of your guys' questions as opposed to these guys' questions. I don't give a fuck about these guys' questions, man. All right. How to hold profitable trades for longer? Oh, well, I'll answer Bobby right above because I know you've asked that a few times and I've missed it, not intentionally. How to hold profitable trades for longer. First piece of advice that I would give you on that. How to hold profitable trades for longer. The biggest thing is having a plan and a strategy. It becomes a lot easier to hold trades for longer or for higher or for lower when you have a strategy that you know works, right? So like if you know that the level system you have and you know, so that's part of the big reason I feel comfortable holding my trades. I've seen it work a million times. And so the first part of this is just seeing it and having that firm plan. Guys, I'll tell this to every single one of you. Every single one of you watching right now on this stream. For most of you, your problem is not your ability to read charts. Your problem, it has nothing to do. It's with like, and here's the other thing. Most of you are right most of the time. Like when you create a trading plan and you're like, I think the market's going to go down and I think it's going to go here. I bet you're right. Like more than half the time, it's probably just not the best trade management and allowing the trades to play out. So the first way to hold your trades for longer is simply understand that they're probably going to go farther. That would be my piece of advice. Yeah. All right. Why do you typically trade single 150Ks over copy trading 50Ks? I don't have a great answer for you. Recently, I've started to copy trade the 50Ks. And I like doing it. The math actually makes more sense on them. So I do both, but recently, I think you're right. I'm leaning more towards copy trading 50Ks. Yeah, I think that the math on them just makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, so you're right for sure. But I like trading the 150Ks by themselves because then I can do what I've done with this alpha account. With these ones, you get access to a bunch of contracts. You have good initial starting drawdown, and you can just aim for big winners and then just take free money payouts each week. Do you know how long it like this mathematically it would be so difficult to blow this 240K. Now that I said that, I'm for sure going to blow it, but mathematically it's just hard. Like even on max contract size, it's hard. So I like doing them both. I just approach them differently. 50Ks I copy trade, 150Ks I trade solo. What dates do you have penciled in for a London Guinness? I don't have any dates yet besides my flight out there. I think I'm going out on the 4th or 5th of July. The 5th as of right now. I might need to do the 4th to make Sunday's stream. But that would be kind of sacrilegious to fly to London on the 4th of July. I mean, that would basically be me playing into enemy territory, you know? So we can't do that. Bro is saying a whole lot of nothing. I think we're talking about the guy from FOMC. I agree. He's yapping. If you're talking about me, I'm sorry. I've lost all my trades today, so you don't want me to trade anyways. Have you ever used the fib tool? Yeah, Fibonacci's are just confusing, but they're good. I don't use it much though. No, truthfully, not much. Not much. What do you use to copy trade for Tradeovate? Just Tradeovate itself. I use Tradeovate itself. Yeah, I just use Tradeovate. They have the built-in copy trader in Tradeovate. Super easy. So I just use that. Jake, not a question, but your system has helped me turn profitable. 30K across 350K accounts. Oh, man. I love you, DeSanti. Bro, it's so fun to watch your journey, man. Keep fucking pushing. How do you get the 1 hour candles on the side? It's a new indicator we're working on. I didn't build it. One of my guys built it. It's a new one we're working on. You could also just put two charts next to each other. There's a simple way to do it. I think there's another one out there that exists with it. But I forget the name of it. Yeah, but this is not our first. We're not the inventors of this. I just wanted, and it's still not done. I want to see the RTH on the ETH chart, but which that would be the specific thing for us that we would make different about it. But we don't have that yet. But somebody could probably make it. This is not a crazy indicator from my understanding, but it's cool. Jake, do you have a girlfriend or a wife? Nah, dog. Nah, I'm single as a muff. I took a girl on a first date to the NBA Finals. That was probably one of the craziest things I've ever done. It was a good first date, though. It was a real good first date. EMAs? No, I don't use EMAs, but I have nothing against them. EMAs, I think in particular, the 20 EMA is valuable. Let me add it on the chart real quick and show you what I'm talking about. I think that a 20 EMA, it does good as acting as like a median, right? Like price tends to not stray too far away from the 20 EMA. So it's a good way to visualize it. I don't use like hard rules like short 20 or long the 20. But EMAs, I think, are good. The way I use them is a visual representation of the mean, right? Like this is a visual way to represent like an average price. And VWAP is similar. I like the EMA more than VWAP, but they're all similar. It's basically just like a medium point. We don't go too far away from it at any given time, you know? Yeah. That's the best way I look at EMAs. All right. Sorry, I missed some of these questions up here. I'm pretty much right, but I always cut shit off early. Is it too much risk, or should I turn off the dollar amount? Probably both, Blizzard. I'd turn off the dollar amount and I'd lower the risk a little bit. Guys, one of the other reasons that people ask me how I'm able to hold trades so well, and this is going to sound like a fucking cocky asshole thing to say. I'm not trying to sound like that. Like, I love money and I want more and more and more and more of it. I'm actively trying to buy a fucking house without selling any of my current assets. I want to buy it cash. That's a big goal, to use none of my current assets and eventually buy a house, right? It's a big goal. That being said, the dollars that I'm risking in trading, I'm really comfortable losing. Like, I risked 20,000 one day, and that was just like my own personal account cash money that I risked on stream. I think I lost 8, and then on my last trade I made 17 or something, or I made 20 or something like that. But I risked 20,000 of my own money. I could do that all day for fucking 25 days in a row, lose every single day, and I would be annoyed. But like, that's the money I have set aside for trading, right? And so the reason when I'm up 10 or 15,000 that I'm less emotional is because I'm not making some insane multiple of what I could lose. Just by being in the market, I could lose a chunk of money. So I really recommend that to people. Just risk less. It sounds so easy, but it's so true, which is just lower your risk and you will trade significantly less emotionally, you know? Dude, wow, this 71s level is nuts. Scary accurate. Scary accurate. All right, let me keep going. What is your average risk on a 50K? Either half the drawdown or all of the drawdown. I trade props nowadays. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to risk. I think traders in general should approach props with one of two ways. If you are a trader out there who is trying to take advantage of prop firms because you don't want to risk a lot of your own money, then the best way to approach your risk is treat it like a personal account. Risk less than 10% of your drawdown per trade. If you're using props as an ROI game and you're trying to generate a large return or replace personal cash, like if you're playing the game, risk half or all. And I'm not advocating for number 2. I'm not. I'm just saying, in my eyes, and risk is different for everybody. But in my eyes, you should be doing one of these two. Because in the middle is just like, the losing tilt days will impact so much. I just think you should either go hard in the paint or trade them like a personal account. I'm not advocating for people to go hard and do crazy shit, because I also am the biggest advocate of like, only trade prop accounts with debit cards. Don't trade them with credit cards. Like, that is the biggest advocate of me. So I'm not trying to say that you should risk more. I'm just saying, in my eyes, that's the one of two ways. Sorry, in my eyes, this is the one of two ways that you should be treating prop accounts. Either treat it like a personal account and risk 10% of drawdown per trade, or play the ROI game and risk half of the account per trade or all of it. One guy who I used to work closely with from a prop firm that I won't mention the name of, He left the prop firm and he's now doing his own thing. But one of the things that he told me is that the firms look at users that come in. The more accounts they buy, as crazy as this sounds, every time that a user buys an account, it's almost like they have a high, I think they have a higher odds of payout or something like that. I don't remember the exact way that he was phrasing it to me, but what he was saying made sense. He was effectively saying the more tries someone takes, the more likely they are to get a payout. Right? And I was like, huh. And I'm not saying that you should be doing a bunch of tries. Please don't do that. Again, debit cards only, no credit cards, all that. I'm saying that the prop firms, the people that rob them the most money are the ones playing it like an ROI game. I think that's just the truth. Now, the flip side of that is that if you're a trader that is trying to learn how to trade, you're trying to go through your first 2, 3, 4 years of trading without losing your entire net worth, then option 1 is the way better option. And do this. I'm adding these notes to both. Okay, that's my prop firm rant. That's my recommendation. And remember, guys, single stock futures are fucking coming. I just had a meeting with one of my favorite fucking firms yesterday because I've been telling all of them, dude. I have reached out to all of the firms that I work with. And I have said, guys, I am a fucking streamer and creator. This is like, I'm a trader first, but I also do this shit. If you guys want me to make any content related to single stock futures, like, fucking let me know. I am on top of it. No one else is preparing the way I am preparing. I am ready. And only one of them is really, only 2 of them seem to be taking it seriously. So I'm eager though. I had a meeting yesterday with one and they are fucking on it. And I'm like, thank God, because I think it's going to change the world. Single stock futures should literally change the world. Yeah, man. I'm excited. NQ has effectively gone nowhere, guys. I'm happy to not be trading this super. I mean, I'm happy to not be trading it right now. All right, let me see. Knock on wood for real. No Chicago meetup, man. I want to do Chicago at some point. It's still at the top of my list. I just have absolutely no clue when I'm gonna get there. Combined in my lifetime between payouts, trading profits, all that, I am north of 7 figures. So, Nick, don't beat yourself up. At my lowest point, I was down $70,000 something dollars. Like, I lost 50 at first and then slowly lost another 20. It's possible to turn around. My challenge to you would be slow down, right? Slow down. You ever fly to Austria? I've never been to Austria. No, I've never been to Austria. I love trading SPY, but if I get it funded, what should I trade? Dude, that's the nice part. If you're trading SPY 0 DTE right now, I would 100% recommend trying ES futures instead. You don't have to use a prop firm. They're a cheaper way into it, but if you have cash to start with, don't hesitate to just use your own, dude. Like, props are nice, but you don't have to use them. You could trade ES, which is the same thing as SPY. You just don't have to worry about theta. I love options on Fridays and after earnings and like in unique scenarios. Other than that, futures are way easier day to day. Futures are significantly easier day to day. Some people, for whatever reason, I don't know why, they don't believe me when I say that. They think I'm lying. They think it's propaganda against the options culture. Dude, I traded options every day for years while trading futures more on the side. I still love to trade options more on the side, but every day it's just stressful and you have to deal with theta, and it's like futures are literally easier. I make more money day-to-day trading futures. I still love my big wins on options. Guys, this fucking house that I'm in, well, nowadays my 6 months is up, actually. So now I do pay rent. But the first 6 months I lived in this house, I did not pay rent because I paid 6 months of rent up front, all with profits from a withdrawn gold trade on options. So, like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love options. They paid for the goddamn house I'm living in. But on a day-to-day basis, like, futures are just easier. Options are good for bigger winners. Sorry, side rant. Side rant. How many accounts can you max copy trade on Tradeovate? However many the firm allows. So most firms allow 5. One firm, Apex, does allow 20. I've never done Apex. One day I will try. Someone earlier asked, do you worry about getting payouts if you weren't a creator? Not with any of the big firms. Apex, I would more be worried they're going to close me out after one payout and move me live. That's what I've read they've done recently. But no, any of the firms, guys, that I've got a big 5 right now. In no particular order, but also in some particular order. You hear what I'm saying? It's in no particular order. Tradeify, Lucid, Take Profit Trader, Alpha, My Funded Futures. Those are the big 5. If any of you ever have payout issues and you're one of my fucking people, you just tell me. Again, I can't promise to fix it. And if you've done some shady shit or it was something that's on the line of like, you weren't supposed to trade news, but you traded news. Like, I can't cure that shit. Or like, I can't cure shit. But if you were scammed, I will go to war for you. And there are people in the chat who have had issues before that hopefully some of them are here today and they can back me up. If you use any of the firms I recommend, my big 5, if you use any of the big 5 and you have payout issues, you just let me know. Again, I can't guarantee to fix it, but what I can guarantee is if you were genuinely wronged, then I will go to war for you. You know what I mean? And I've gone to war for a few people before, and it's worked out. I was enjoying Trade C, Kakarov. Trade C is a good platform, man, but I'm just like, I'm a dude with old habits that die hard, and I just fuck with Tradeovate. You know what I mean? But I do like Trade C. But I like Tradeovate. I just think I'm like. Speaking of which, Tradeovate, if you're out there, you want to sponsor your boy, I always use you guys. No, I love Tradeovate though. That's it. Yeah. You need 5 winning days before requesting a payout. 5 winning days. $150 or more. I like strawberries more than cherries. Dude, it's the greatest sandwich in the world. I'm kind of salty because Hank and I follow each other on Instagram, and I've been trying to fucking smoke a joint with him for forever. And he was supposed to be there the last time I was at the store, but he wasn't. But that's okay. It's not your fault, Hank. I still love you, Mr. Henry. I have a trading question. I play price action, support, and resistance. I find myself having the perfect levels, but I tend to get in early and will get stopped before the move actually happens. Chat, I have a feeling. I'm curious. Let's put a poll in the chat. How do you guys feel, man? Do you guys often get stopped? The biggest one that I would say, the biggest answer that I have for that is use the 15-minute chart. That's part of the reason we're building this. The 15-minute chart is just, it saves you a lot of headache of are we really rejecting the level or not, right? Or are we really holding the level? Oftentimes, just a little bit wider stops as well, which you could do in a variety of different ways. You could actually put like a wider point stop on the chart, or you could just use less size. But if that is happening to you constantly, guys, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over, right? If you often get stopped before the move, you want to look at things that you can do that can tweak that, right? And I would say the two easiest ways to tweak that are increase your stop size, right? Which means you'll probably need to lower your position size. And two, be more in tune with the higher time frames. That happens a lot less on the 15-minute than it happens on the 5 and 2 and everything like that. Is there a second date? For sure. For sure. Just, I mean, she lives in New York. I live in Puerto Rico. So I gotta, and I'm legally not allowed to be in New York much for the rest of the year. I have very limited New York days left. So it's kind of hard to start something. So it's kind of crazy that I took him to a Knicks game, but whatever. Jake, how old are you? And it was a great time. I would do it again. And what age did you get into trading? I got into trading at age 21, and I am now 30. So this is my coming up on 9th full year. No, it was not the Trendline girl that I took on a date. Tory Trades. I'm not interested. We're platonic friends. Just Tory Trades and I. Any FOMC giveaway? Maybe. Maybe. You got to wait and see. More to come for sure. My core strategy is to buy higher lows and short lower highs. I just like to trade price action and trends, which leads to, guys, on days like today, where the NQ is effectively ranging and going nowhere, this is a super classic type of day that I would have a losing day on. The only part about my losing day today that annoys me is I literally, in my pre-market Jake's initial thoughts, I weighed the most likely scenario to be range chop, and I just got a little sidetracked by the action. And it is what it is. It happens. Now all I can do is look back and ask myself, did I manage my risk? Yeah. All right, dope. Did I keep my emotions in check? Yeah, dope. So that's perfect, you know? I'm sorry, I forgot to flip back to the chart. This is perfect range day action. Sorry, I've done that a few times now, and I apologize about that. But this is perfect range day action. I'm not surprised in the fucking slightest that I had a red day today. I'm not mad at myself. I'm not upset. The only thing I'm annoyed about is that pre-market, I don't know where I wrote it. I probably erased it already. But pre-market, I wrote that we have a good chance of range chop bullshit. Anyone who's claiming to have traded this action perfectly is a fucking liar. All right? Maybe they caught one good trade in here and then walked away. Hell yeah, pop off, king. But if you're out here like, dude, I scalped the hell out of this move. I nailed all this action. Come on now, son. Come on now, son. Actually, I take that back. I don't know. People are good. Maybe they did. But me losing today does not shock me at all. I like to trade trends. I'm real good at trading trends. Ranges, sometimes I get stuck a little bit. His wife is the NASDAQ. I forgot. Exactly, guys. Wife is the NASDAQ. Don't trade if you broke. I agree. Work on building up capital. Can you speak on how to deal with a trailing drawdown and funded? Yes, I'm going to go through this quick just because I've talked about this specifically a million times on the streams. So I'm going to go through it quick, but there's two approaches. One, size heavy. Try to get past it in one trade. That's obviously very aggressive, but that is the way to do it if you are trying to if you're trying to play the ROI game on prop firms, right? Second approach, risk less than 10% of drawdown per trade. Trailing shouldn't be a huge deal. 50K accounts equals 2K risk. Or 2K risk equals 200 per trade. If you're risking 200 per trade, the intraday trailing should not be that giant of a factor. The R multiple, just based on math. If you're risking less than 10% of the drawdown per trade, you should be all right. Doesn't solve it, but that's how you do it. Single stock futures, baby. They're coming. They're coming. Soon you will be able to trade Tesla and NVIDIA on a prop firm, guys. You'll be able to trade Tesla, NVIDIA. And really what I'm excited for is swing trading. You won't be able to swing trade in the sense of holding from market close to end. But what you'll be able to do is trade after hours effectively, bro. You could make a decision and be like, oh, okay. After market closes each day, you could go through all of your charts, all of your different names. How fucking exciting is this, guys? When the market closes soon, you will be able to wait an hour or two, go through all of your favorite names, NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, whatever, after the market has closed. After. And then you can enter a trade at like 6 p.m. and look to hold it into the next day as a swing trade with no theta, no weird options things causing the contracts to make no sense when you open up. Is that not fucking exciting? That, dude, that to me is the strat. That's, to me, is the move. At the end of the day, you scroll through all of your daily charts or your weekly charts. And you say, okay, I want to swing trade this name. Like, let's say NVIDIA. Yesterday at market close. Market closes. Turning off the music for this. Market closes, right? An hour later, in between market close and futures market open, you go do your analysis. And you say, oh shit, NVIDIA with a daily sell. I want to short NVIDIA. You can look for an overnight entry. Shorting NVIDIA with a swing trade stop above these highs. And you could still be holding that bitch. NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple. That is coming. Soon. Like, I'm talking really soon, guys. It's super exciting. That to me is, that is a huge reason why I started this network and why I took this risk. And make no mistake, it's a risk, guys. I love my team, but paying the production of the show and everything, it's a risk. It's a risk, But I'm taking this risk because I believe that single stock futures is going to trade the world, and I want us to already have an audience when it starts. And we're priming ourselves. Single stock futures, man. Dude, imagine not having to worry about fucking theta. I love options as much as the next guy when they're in my favor. When they're working against me, I hate them, which means I like to trade them like 20 to 30% of the time. This is actually not as great of an example because Meta, you probably could have made a lot on zero DTEs today. So this day, I probably would have traded options. Swinging NVIDIA, I don't have to stress about that. I could just hold it short and not worry about, the fucking theta's killing me. No, just hold the bitch. Hold that shit. It's sick, dude. So I'm hyped, guys. I'm hyped. I think that single stock futures is going to trade the world. Warbucks is I love Warbucks. Nothing against PW. I love PW. We are real life friends. I'm not knocking Warbucks. I'm just saying there's a difference between, this is not a knock, this is just a fact. There's a difference between single stock futures versus CFD stocks. Right now, you're not on Warbucks, you're not trading the futures through a CME data exchange, which is what I'm looking forward to. Just CME data and stuff. Yeah. I like the daily payouts on Tradeify for the select accounts. I like the daily payouts. I lost another eval today. Don't quit. Guys, what I recommend for you all out there, if you love trading, if you really, really, really love it, don't look at it as I might quit. Look at it as just reframe. You need to figure out what you're doing wrong. And more importantly, start to manage that risk a little bit. You know what I mean? Start to manage that risk a little bit. Which means that you just don't want to be I'm not saying you haven't managed risk up until this point. But don't put yourself in a position to lose another 25K. You know what I mean? Start to strategize and formulate a real plan about how you're going to come back from that. I still like options better. That's totally fair, dude. That's why you're allowed to be you and I'm allowed to be me. I think that's crazy. I think futures are objectively easier, but options are better, bigger winners. If you like to trade those each day, that's just crazy to me. But dude, pop the fuck off. That's why you're allowed to do what you want, my brother. I'm posting a video right now. Someone says, what's the difference between futures and options? I'm going to post a video right now. I actually made a video. It's fucking crazy to me that this has 17,000 views. I can't get like a detailed trade review got like 2.3K, 2.7K. And it's never going up. It's never getting more than that. But that's the YouTube algorithm for you. It likes shit that you can search. So yeah, I'll post this link right now. What platform have you talked to about single stock futures? I'm not allowed to tell you, dog. To the moon. No, but for real, I'm not allowed to tell you. They asked me not to mention it. Which Forex broker do you recommend offshore? 500 to 1. None, dog. I don't know if they'll trade. I don't know if they'll pay you your money. I would recommend trading futures instead. Truthfully, Tradeivate, you can get just as much and high as leverage with Tradeivate from a regulated brokerage. Just use Tradeivate. Just use Tradeivate. Does Tradeivate or Vanquish work in Dubai? Tradeivate will work in Dubai. I don't know about Vanquish. I've got nothing against Vanquish, but I just don't know why you would trade options on a prop firm. I think options, it makes way more sense to trade. Options, you want bigger winners, so that would make more sense in a personal account to me. But maybe that's just me. And I want, if I'm going to work with a Vanquish or recommend them, I just want their data feed to be better. They're using DX feed right now, and I don't love DX feed. $2020, the funded. Yeah, I mean, those are long. It's a long time ago. The space has for sure evolved. What's your thoughts on volume issues with single stock futures? Great question. No, bro. I don't think that there's going to be volume issues whatsoever. Mainly because, guys, the whole world is going towards... the whole world is going towards more and more trading stuff. More Kalshi, poly market. Like, dude, there's never going to be a lack of volume in the trading market. I don't worry about that, but that is a good question. I am also curious what the margin requirements are going to be. My man, Mitch. What's up, my brother? Yeah, I mean, more easy, understandable, potato. Look, guys, I hope that I love options. Again, literally, my house was paid for with options, bro. So, like, My house was paid for with options. I love them. I also you can't change my opinion on them. I'm allowed to have my own opinion, which is that options are frustrating and hard to trade every single day. Which is just hard, you know? It's just hard. My life is less stressful trading futures every day because I don't have to worry about theta and all that. Guys, yeah, I am, I mean, my NQ, never wrong, just early. Never wrong, just early. So I would suspect we keep trending down. I don't want to take any more trades today just because I've lost enough, you know? That's one thing that you guys ask me sometimes, what's one of the traits of a profitable trader? Knowing when it's not your day. And it's not my day. And I've lost 5 racks and I've lost 1 alpha eval and 1 my funded eval, and it's not my day. So, you know, I tried again. I tried to short this. I was just a little early. You know, it's not my day. It's not my day. It's not my day. You know? I like what Jordan said here. Invest in shares, swing trade options, day trade futures. This is the way. I totally agree. Leaps on options and day-to-day futures. I totally agree. It is. I have found so much less stress in my life day trading futures every day. I just find less stress. And I know, dude, for whatever reason, there are some people out there, I don't get it. They genuinely do not believe me. I think that they think that's like, I don't know. I think they think I'm lying. I'm like, I don't. You can't tell me how I feel. You know. OPEX tomorrow too. Oh shit! Tomorrow's the last trading day of the week. Shit, dude, it's like a Friday tomorrow. It took me about 3.5, 4 years before I found any kind of consistency, Johnny Moonshine. And then 3.5 years. And then once I found that consistency, I had a year essentially of break-even stages where like I was profitable and I would make money, but then I couldn't keep it, you know? Yeah. That's, so that was like a full year-long process for me, man. I spent a year making fucking money. And then once a month, I would lose it. Once a month, I would lose it. I've never used ITT's 930 strategy. What do you mean you didn't have a license or anything so you couldn't take the payout? Vernati, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? When you were going through that year, were you still blowing accounts? No. So that's really the difference maker, is that year I was not losing money. I was I'm pretty sure, I don't remember what it was exactly, but I'm pretty sure I ended the year like plus $20,000 or something, right? But I was up. If I had not, like, that could have been my first $100,000 year, right? But I kept losing. I kept blowing the funds. So I would blow accounts, but I would always withdraw the money. Like, it was technically profitable, but it was basically a year of like, yeah, dude. I mean, I would make money Monday, and it got progressively better. Like, it started by I would make money Monday through Thursday, lose it on Friday. Then, as the year got on, I would make money the first 20 days of the month, lose it all the last 10 days. You know. Yeah, it's a risk thing, guys. It's a risk, and it's a greed thing, really, guys. It's greed more than anything. You know, it's the greed of I want more. It's the greed of never being able to walk away. It's the greed of, like, what you're seeing right now, today, from me, is an example of why I'm profitable now. I lost $5,000 and I stopped. And not every day is that the hard number. Yesterday, I saw more opportunities. Yesterday, I felt like I had a better read on the market. So I was willing to go up to like $10,000 of risk, right? But even then, had I lost, I would have stopped. So you guys are seeing in real time how I was able to overcome and become profitable. It's the stopping. It's the me debating taking 20 fucking trades during this action, but not doing it. Like, that is, like, the secret is containing your losing days. You just got to contain your losing days. That's the biggest thing that you can do. So, yeah, big advocate. I strictly look at charts. News events I consider for stuff, but I don't try to predict the news. I'm only a chart guy. I couldn't do KYC. Any prop firm wouldn't have paid you out then, Vernati. If you can't do KYC, anybody's gonna make you do KYC. They're all gonna do it. That sucks. I'm sorry, but they're all gonna make you do it. That's how I overcame it, Disco. Let's go, Hamad. He says, Jake put me on TPT a couple months ago. Now over 6K in payouts in a live account. My man. Guys, be willing to try new firms. Be willing to give them a shot. TPT, you can get 5 live accounts. So that's what's nice. I blew one of mine today. I technically still have, I don't know if they're going to move me straight live, but I passed a few pros yesterday that like, or excuse me, a few of the evals with yesterday that I've been trading. We did those all on stream. I passed those. I'll get, if they keep me in the straight to Pro Plus, which I don't know if they will because I lost one of them today, I'll just have straight up 2 live accounts tomorrow, which is dope. Jake, are you under the influence? Jake, are you under the influence? Is that, like, it depends. Who's asking, bro? Passed 3 evals 2 weeks ago and blew all 3 last week and this week. I would maybe try to give yourself a harder limit, right? Say that you're only willing to risk 1 eval per week or whatever the case may be, right? But there's also a part of me that's like, that is the game we play. You know, don't beat yourself up too much. As long as you felt like it was good trading. If it was bad trading, that's when you need to stop, right? But if it was good trading and it was just luck of the draw, I wouldn't beat yourself up too much. We did. Oh, yeah. Why is he asking if I'm drunk, dog? I'm not drunk, bro. I don't drink when I'm in Puerto Rico, guys. I don't drink when I'm down here. I don't drink at all. Like, there's no... I really don't drink that much in general. My Instagram stories just make it seem like I do. Does the stream help you stay more disciplined in time like this? I don't know. Maybe. I've been streaming for so long now that I don't really know what it's like to trade off stream a ton as much recently. Maybe it does, truthfully. Maybe it does. It's entirely possible it might, guys. Dude, yeah, who keeps asking if I'm drunk? What are we, fucking feds? Come on now. Jesus, guys. Speaking of which, though, I will light this joint. I'm sorry, Vernati. That's a bummer. Okay. I understand the situation now. Hey, well, that you've done it before. You can do it again. Jake, I followed you on YouTube Shorts now. I follow you on YouTube Live. You're the best, truly. Thanks for sharing. Gary, man, dude, shout out you. Thank you so much. Why do you do this, though? Too many haters out there. Bro, I love haters. I don't know what it is, but I love haters. First of all, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Relative, like, if you look at the amount of haters I have versus literally any other trading influencer out there, we have none. Like, there basically no one hates me. Very limited people hate me. The people who do are usually they tried to copy one of my trades. I lost the trade, which like I do have this little thing here. Do not copy me. You will lose. But they try to copy me anyways. And I don't know. Truthfully, we don't have a lot of haters, guys. They bother me more than they should. And that's my own fault. I'm working on that every day. I'm going to be honest with you, dude. We don't have that many relative to like most people. Some people stream and 70% of their chat is like actively rooting against them, which I just don't get why you would keep streaming at that point. Or some people like block, hundreds or thousands of people. Guys, we have like 6 people blocked on the channel. And it's all because they were really rude. Like if you're blocked on our channel, it's because you were really rude. Like to the point where I just don't care to listen to you anymore. So truthfully, we have a lot more. Why do I do this? Is a few different folds. One, I think it gives me a sense of purpose. I do think I could probably live I would work less if I just only traded, but I'd for sure make less too, right? Like make no mistake, as a content creator and a trading educator in the space, I make a good amount of money, from partnerships, from education. So there's no doubt that I make more by doing this. I do work a lot more though. I would work a lot less. But here's one question that I was thinking of the other day, right? Like, if you have an audience, it almost makes sense to offer some sort, like, to offer a course or education or something. It's just good risk. Like, if you ask, it's funny because some people think if you're a great trader, you'd never need to sell a course, blah, 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 blah. I'd flip the question around. I would say, if you're a great trader, wouldn't you look at the risk to reward of selling a course and be like, yeah, I can risk, people being upset with me and my time and make money off that. That's a good risk. Like, traders in general are very risk, conscious people. So I think it's just a good risk. I do this streaming because again, today is a terrible example. I've done nothing but lose all of my trades today. So, and I was right on direction too, which sucks. But yeah, I mean, again, today's a literally terrible example. But I do think I'm really good at this. I think I'm good at streaming. I think I'm good at trading on stream. And the trading space is growing like crazy right now. So if there's an opportunity, and this is the same, I've always been open about this. If there's an opportunity for me to get in on the ground floor-ish of an industry that I think will continue to grow by doing something that I think I'm good at, that feels like a win-win, right? And I'm looking to hire you guys eventually. Like right now, I'm staying lean. I just have to be responsible as a business owner, right? There's only so much of like risk that, I mean, starting the show with the team we had was an ambitious move in general, right? So I'm being very patient. I'd like the show to turn profitable first before I start like expanding and hiring for new segments. But the goal and the dream for me is, this is the rest of my life. Maybe one day this network, the Rake Trades Network, has enough viewers and enough pull that, a prop firm buys us, or Barstool buys us, or Polymarket buys us, or something like that. And, I mean, it's everybody's dream for something like that one day. I'd never leave you guys, though, but I would happily let someone give me a big check as long as I'm aligned with their values. But I've already been offered large checks, guys, and they're from people that I'm not aligned with their values. So I promise I'm not taking a check just to take a check. Many have been offered, which is a cool feeling. Fuck you, ES, by the way. Fuck you, NQ. Fucking rat bastard. Rat. But yeah, man, I do it because I love it, and I do hope to make money from it one day, for sure. And I love you guys. I love it. I love you guys. You guys are incredible, man. Rake, I'm stuck in a cycle that I can pass the evals easily, but the psychology messes me up and funded. Can you please give me some advice? Risk less initially. Risk less initially. That would be the best advice I can give you. risk less initially. Because if you can pass the evals easily, what it means is that you're sizing heavy on the evals, and then when you're getting to the fundeds, if you're still sizing heavy, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just you flipped a coin, and those trades lost that day. The best thing you could do is reduce the size, truthfully, which just means slowing down. And I know that's not the sexy answer, but it's the right answer. It's not sexy, but it's right. Emily, my queen, dude, you are a living legend around here, Emily. You are an absolute living legend. My queen, dude. You're a living legend. Since you yapped, the market has gone straight up, dude. And it's now pulling back. I hope you're rich today, Emily. I hope you're rich as a motherfucker today. I hope that you're making cash money milish today, because today is your type of day, babe. Oh, I'm glad you're back. No, I don't have a top step code. Nobody has top step codes, sadly. I don't use ICT, so I can't really comment on that. But my sizing advice is the same sizing that everybody that I've said it throughout the night, which is either A, risk heavy and play the game. It's this advice right here. Same advice. Props should be traded in one of two ways, in my opinion. Treat it like a personal account where you risk less than 10% of the drawdown per trade, or play the ROI game where you're risking half or the full account per trade, and you know you're going to lose some. You do not do number two unless you have a track record, proof of success, blah, blah, blah. Right? Yeah. All right, guys, just a few more minutes. Do you take supplements to stay awake? No, man. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't take anything. I took Adderall I took Vyvanse for 7 years of my life. Never fucking again, bro. Well, that's not. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say I've never recreationally taken an Adderall. But I took Vyvanse for literally 7 years of my life, every single day, starting from age 15, I think. 15 to 22. Every single day, 7 years, not a single day off. Fuck that shit. Never again. Earlier in your trading, did you use risk settings? No, I didn't, but I wish I did. I wish I did. I'm the most giant advocate of daily loss limits. I think they are wonderful. I think they are crucial to success. I love a good daily loss limit. I don't like them on a prop firm account that I'm trying to leverage the return. But anytime I get to like funded stage or personal account or whatever, love a daily loss limit. Love them. Gary, I appreciate you a bunch, my man. Klavaski, I don't imbalances. I don't know I think that's an ICT term, and I'm not an ICT trader. If you phrase it differently, I could probably answer. My man, Jordan. I can't wait for it, my brother. There's 480 on ES, guys. Shout out to Mr. Mitch Gamma today. I'm bummed out that I couldn't hold. I only tried one afternoon stab, and it was short. I was just a little early. Bummed I couldn't trade hold a trade in his honor. But he's live every single day on our channel at 12:30, guys. I got to give him a little plug. If you're not tuning in to Mr. Mitch Gamma in the afternoons, you're missing out, for real. The man just knows what he's talking about. And we got down to the 4780s part on the ES. So shout out Mr. Mitch, man. Great call. You still selling your mastermind course for life? Right now it's available in the monthly subscription. That's the only thing we have available right now. Jake, just give me your best songs playlist. All right, let me try. Oh, this is fire though. We're listening to Studio Live by Fred again. None of this is on that playlist, but I love this Studio Live. This is so good. Can I hold trade at 5 positions overnight? No, you cannot. We'll slow down and report back. We'll just, oh man, I appreciate you so much, Trader Jomo. Thank you so much for being here. Few minutes away from the giveaway. I don't know, Gennick. Great question. I go between trying to send evals and then trading them like personal. That's just a hard switch, but it's a good game. You know, if you can play it the right way, it's a good game, but it's a hard one, man. Just switch your risk, like that. The risk settings are saving my accounts today, bro. They saved mine for sure. Nippy Lip, my dude. I appreciate you a bunch. What's your strategy? So I mostly just trade price action. I know that sounds simple, but the simplest way to explain it is I like to trade when something has a clean trend. And I like to long lower highs, or higher lows, excuse me. So I would go long at this higher low. And I like to short lower highs. So I go short here. And I use candle analysis to complete these moves. So like yesterday, which is my last winner, I did not trade well today. I went short here, and I hold for big moves. So I went like short here, and then we came back. I was in good profit, came back to even and out a couple times. And I was able to hold for a good move down. So I hold for big moves. I trade with the trend, simple price action stuff. Most traders massively overcomplicate stuff. A lot of traders could benefit from just looking at a 15-minute chart, bro, and just trading the buy setups and the sells on the 15-minute chart. Just trade the trend on the 15-minute chart. So much easier. It's so much simpler. You don't gotta look for a million checklists, something like that. It's just a understand trends, use 15-minute charts. And now, with Eagle Eyes, we're hoping to have that all in one with the 5-minute. But I want it set up the way I want. It's the ones, there are ones out there right now, but they're not designed the way I want. But yeah. Is there one time frame you watch for higher high and higher low structure on? No, guys, I am always watching all time frames. I am always watching all time frames. I frequently get questions about the time frame. If you watch my streams, you will see during the trades, I'm constantly clicking between them. I am always hyper aware of what we look like on all time frames. That's why I'm excited about this. We just need to fix it and make it look the way I want, because it doesn't right now. And the generic indicators out there, they also don't look the way I want. But we can tweak this. We can get this the way I want. But I'm always hyper aware of all time frames. Mitch, my man, I appreciate you, my dog. Mitch, speaking of which, while you're here, for the lovely folks that have stuck around this long, I feel like we should give away a couple accounts here. Yeah, you think so? Could we maybe run a giveaway for 5 minutes, 2 winners? Let's do it. Because I think, yeah, man, I don't, yeah. Let's do it. These are Mitch. These are the Mitch giveaways. Shouting out Mr. Mitch and his afternoon stream, guys. He's a bad Gamma Jamma streams at 12:30 in the afternoons, and he nailed this move, man. I mean, he walked it through for everybody. So make sure that you tune in to his streams. He is an absolute killer. So guys, an eval is being given away right now. 2 winners. All you got to do is do exactly what it looks like on the stream and in the chat right now. All right, you just got to type !enter. Ronj, the birthday dog. What up, my brother? I didn't expect to see you. Guys, thanks so much for being here today. I mean, basically an hour and a half of this stream, I wasn't even open-minded to trading, and you guys stuck around. So that's pretty awesome, man. I'm grateful for you. Super grateful, super grateful. And thank goodness this trading day is done, because I couldn't hit shit. Even though my ideas were right, man. Bummer, bro. My ideas were right. Sometimes it's just, that's why trading's like a coin flip, you know? A whole lot of things got to go right for you to make money. Only one thing's got to go wrong for you to lose money. You know what I mean? Much love, guys. Much love. All right, let's see. Hold on, guys. Trying to get on this Eagle Eyes here. See if we can get this thing to work the way I want it to. How do I... there we go. Update the latest version. All right, bet. Okay. Oh. Wait, this might be sick as fuck. So that's the open from today. So that's why if you're on the 5-minute. Gas! Oh, this is sick. All right, guys. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. Good luck to everybody. All right, you can no longer enter the raffle. Sorry for my late entries, DeSanti and M. Parker. I love you both. I imagine you guys got earlier entries too. All right, Harrison and Crypto. Oh, Harrison. Guys, Harrison is an excellent winner. Harrison, you're not a different Harrison Franks, right? You're the Harrison Franks? Unless I'm crazy and there's somehow a second Harrison with your exact last name. If it's the Harrison I'm thinking it is, yeah, but all right, thank God. I was like, no way there's another Harrison. Harrison flew from Arkansas to New York for our New York event last year. That was fucking incredible, dude. So I'm very happy. You're a very, very deserving winner. And then Crypto Per Tap. Where you at, Crypto? You here? Crypto Per Tap? And yeah, FOMC's over. You should be good on your pro. Yeah, Joe. Guys, congrats to the winner. L. Rodriguez Vlog. Stop entering, dog. All right. Dope. Harrison, I will send me a message just so your thing pops up. Send me a message on Instagram real quick, and I'll shoot you the code. And then where is Crypto Per Tap? Crypto Prep Tap. All right, we got to set the timer then. Stop entering El Rodriguez Vlogs or I gotta block you. You're allowed to enter once, dog. You don't need to slam it a million times. I appreciate you, though. Keep showing up. You'll have a good chance at winning, I promise. But you don't need to keep entering. I promise. All right, we're trying to see if El Crypto Per Tap is in the chat. Peak Performe? Stop it. Or is this rage bait? What are you doing here? Guys, there's no more entries. We're trying to find. You got Crypto Per Tap has 3 minutes. I know. You got 1 more minute, sir. Crypto Patek, where you at? I just hate, guys. I hate taking wins away from people. You would hate if I took one away from you as well. I know you would. Loki doesn't deserve it. Guys, it hasn't been that long. I set a 4-minute timer. We're 2 minutes through. Let's give him another 60 seconds, okay? He's a bot. You guys are savages. We're giving him another 60 seconds. 20 seconds. Stop it. Stop changing my words. All right, guys. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. You guys waited. No need to enter again. Everybody should already be entered. Mitch, go ahead and pull another. Thank you for sticking around, by the way.
If I say, like, hey, I really need help. I really need
Joyce Fernandez 714. Joyce Fernandez 714. Are you here? We love you.
I'm not okay.
Let's see. Let's see.
You know the way that I break.
Maybe too many people left? No, also not like that.
I'm not okay.
Joyce, we're trying to send you love. You here?
Only you know the way that I break. It's nothing. It's nothing. Oh my God. It's nothing. Hey. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Only you know the way.
You guys are so savage. It hasn't even been a minute. All right, I'm putting another minute on the clock.
Hey. I'm not okay. I'm not okay.
Then, Mitch, I think we might have to do a new entry, a new re-entry. Just do like a 1 minute timer.
My name is Faisal. This Sunday, I have overcome my fear of sharing again.
All right, do a 1 minute. Run it, run it.
What scares me is not necessarily knowing how things will always turn out. But like I say, fear and excitement.
You guys are madness.
And something that I hope to do is create, share, love, connect, and expand.
Hey. I'm not okay.
All right, guys, enter, enter, enter. You see it, you see it, you guys see it. It's on the screen. You got 45 seconds. You just got to type exclamation point enter in the chat.
If I say like, hey, I really need help. I really need help. I'm not okay. I need someone.
All right, all right, all right. Enter away, my friends. I think you guys all got entries by now. I don't think it's closed. I think everyone's already entered. Or did it close? No, I don't think it closed. It just stops reporting the ticket at one point, guys. Don't worry. There we go. Leroy Martinez. Oh, okay. A bid up, you couldn't enter. All right, it closed at some point. There we go. You can no longer enter the raffle. There you go. Sorry, I was just distracted. All right, Leroy. Just 1 minute. This is a re-roll because we rolled twice and no one answered. Leroy Martinez. Where are you at? There's no way someone's not here when they just entered a minute ago. Previous winner. Okay. Leroy, we love you, but you won recently, so we are going to repick. We love you, Leroy. Eric Jancito. Eric Jacinto. You guys are so savage. Eric, I'm going to give you a minute, but the fact that we picked this from a pool of winners We picked this from a pool of. Eric, how did you leave this early? How did he leave? We're giving Eric a minute. Everyone only gets a minute now if you win. You get a minute. Normally I give you 5. Given that this is our 4th reroll, we'll give just 1 minute. For 10 seconds. No way. Pick a new one. Pick a new one. Crypto perp again? Oh my God. Okay, Tudini. Tell me you're here, Tudini. Boom, all right. All right, lock it up. Tudini, they're here. I saw them. Oh gosh. That's so crazy, guys. All right, Tudini, you got to message me on Instagram. Just shoot me a message, send me a picture proving your it's here. They're right here. I hear. Send me a picture proving it's your YouTube account. All right, Mitch, I love you, bro. Get back to work. Guys, I love you. I need to get the fuck off this stream. I've been on camera for way too long today. All right, Harrison and Tudini. Oh, man, I love you guys. Tudini, can you send me one more message in the YouTube chat just confirming you're here? And then I can, there we go. All right, I see you. I am user Tudini. All right, I got in touch, I believe, with Tudini. Right now, if you're enjoying what we've been listening to, guys, this is Fred Again Studio Live. That's what we've been listening to. We've been playing that for like the past couple hours, honestly. All right, chat. I love you guys. I'm out. Dude, I will see you at 8:30 tomorrow morning. I'll be well rested. I have a feeling I'm going to crush it. All right? So I love you guys so much. Have a great day. Talk soon. Peace.